prophecies will be fulfilled. The Aes Sedai whispered, the dragon is reborn. What the heck?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nightly Morning Show. Welcome to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club. It is the finale of Book 1 today. We have read The Eye of the World. I am Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And we get nerdy nightly. But all of our shows are in the morning.
Yeah. It's funny how that works out. You know, we just we named you named it before you knew the schedule, and that's just how things go.
Well, I knew that one was going to be a morning show, which is why it has morning in the title. But this one is also in the morning.
Yeah, you know, it just
Hi to everyone who's watching this live. I hope that you read through to the end of the book. We're going to be discussing chapter 41.
All the way to the end.
All the way to that final moment where Moiraine realizes the dragon's been reborn.
Which, you know, we already knew from the show, and, like, that's fine. And honestly, like, we've talked about this before, but I did feel like throughout the book, it being from Rand's perspective really makes it feel like he is the dragon, at least for me. And so it was not like a big surprise. But, wow, the ending is different.
Yeah. If you have only watched the show, I wouldn't know how to explain the ending of the book to you.
No.
Just purely because the book does everything differently.
Literally everything.
And, like, so we have this shirt, You Don't Want to Be Moist Crossing the Blight. Thank you to everyone who's bought a You Don't Want to Be Moist Crossing the Blight shirt.
This is so much funnier.
It's so much funnier now
that we've read the book.
Well, this became... First of all, everyone's moist crossing the Blight because it's so muggy and sweaty.
Yeah.
But also, we're going to get to Nynaeve...
being moist in the middle of the Blight.
Nynaeve gets moist in the Blight.
Yeah.
We need to do a follow-up shirt to this one that says Nynaeve gets moist in the Blight.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. So before we like talk through it like we usually do, I just want to ask the thing that we were told coming into the finale here was, hey, the end of Eye of the World is complicated and confusing, and a lot of book readers have struggled with it for a long time. And I wanted to talk about that first before we get into it, because you and I are of the same mind of this, which is...
I did not find it that confusing.
I did not either.
I don't, like, and I don't, I don't want to... I don't want that to come across the wrong way. But, like, I feel like I very much understood what happened at the end. And it's so different that I don't think that the show has influenced that. And maybe our book readers say that it's more confusing because things get, I don't want to say backtracked in later books, but, like, things that, no, they're not. I don't know if they're retconned. You know, apparently there are things that Robert Jordan was working out still by the time he got to, like, book 2 and 3 about the One Power and how it works. And yeah, I did not find it that confusing. I wonder if it might get more confusing as we jump into the next book.
A lot of people in our chat are saying that it's not that it is confusing in itself. It's that it gets confusing once you've read later stuff and the magic acts differently.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's what it was. Because right now I feel like I understand. I have a decent grasp on what happened.
Yeah, it is interesting looking at the way that the show adapted it. From taking the Eye of the World and turning it into a sangreal, I think is what it was. Because the women's one is the Angreal, right? And the men's is the Sangreal. And so she gives Rand the Sangreal for the final moment instead of him pulling the power out of the Eye of the World.
Oh, in the show, yeah.
And I don't mean to, like, jump ahead to that, but I will say, like, the thing that I am disappointed in the show version, in that specific thing, is that the Eye of the World is created by men and women.
Yes.
And the Sangreal is only created by men.
Yes.
And I think that one of the things I found really fascinating about the way that it's handled in the book is that the Eye of the World being created dominated by men and women means that this first victory against the darkness in this latest war here is a victory of all people.
Yeah.
Because the two sides came together, and it is a foreshadowing of the fact that in order to defeat the Dark One, the Side-In and the Side-Dar are going to have to be brought together again. And
100%.
By making it the Sangreal in the show, you're not foreshadowing the theme of coming together to fight darkness.
Yes.
The way that the book does. And it allows Rand to channel really strong magic in the show and, like, you know, defeat, I think it's Agenor in the show, right?
In the show.
This is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing that we've been getting YouTube comments about since we watched the finale, was that we called the guy on the show the Dark One.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, that's not the Dark One.
And we were like, what do you mean? Of course it is.
Of course it's the Dark One. It's the guy with the red fire eyes and fire mouth. Now that we've read this, the red fire eyes and fire mouth are the Dark One, but the guys at the end are Agenor and Bathamel, who are Forsaken, who are not in the show.
Yeah, so do you think that's gonna be Ishamael? Is that Ishamael?
Ishamael?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Because I think
they don't say his name in the show, so I don't know. He could be he could literally be anybody.
Could be anybody. Yeah. It's one of those weird things where obviously the show, for sake of time, is going to have to most likely compile a bunch of the Forsaken into a few smaller roles, because it sounds like there's
like they did with the Dark Ones in this book.
Yeah. I'm sure that there are a lot of Forsaken.
Robert Slatton brings up an interesting point. It also allows Rand to channel clean Side-In for the first time because the Eye of the World isn't tainted.
Yes.
That's really interesting, Robert. That is a really interesting point, because there is no taint on the Side-In that he channels.
Yeah. But
there is in the show.
Yeah, and he says he, like, can feel it.
Yeah, he can already feel the taint in the show. Well, he's just stroking that taint.
Stop it.
He's grazing up against it lightly with his cheek.
Stop that. Yes. Thank you, mods. Guys, no spoilers. We are speculating here. Don't tell us if we're right or wrong. But sometimes we just spitball, and it's part of the fun of it. But yeah, I feel like in the show it's going to be Ishamael. Or maybe it is the Dark One, but yeah, that made everything like way more confusing.
Yeah, completely changing who is where at the end of the show. Honestly, going into the season 2, we're going to talk about it. I don't know what they do in season 2 because they've changed something so drastically.
No idea.
But that's going to be a talk for next week. Next week's episode is going to be a full book 1 breakdown and book versus show comparison and our predictions for where book 2 goes and where season 2 goes. For now, let's get into the plot of this episode, because the plot of these chapters.
Yep.
Because a lot happens.
A lot happens. We haven't even got the gang back together yet, although it does happen basically immediately.
What's crazy is the book up until now feels like it moved really slow.
And then everything moved so fast.
And
Robert Jordan was like, oh crap, I gotta like get this out.
And the reason they go to the Eye of the World is explained.
Yes.
Like, why? Because the show, I know I said show comparison would be next week, but the show does a thing where she's like, okay, well, I have the dragon, we're just going to go to the Eye of the World and we're going to do it. In the book, she wants to go train them first. CJ Boodwell, thank you so much for that super chat.
Thank you, CJ.
Appreciate that. In the book, in the show, they just go, right?
Yeah,
but in the book, she doesn't want to just go. It feels like Moiraine is like, okay, we're going to go, we're going to figure out which one's the dragon, we're going to train him, we're going to get him ready.
Yeah.
And then she gets information in this first scene here that is really important to why they end up going up to the Eye of the World.
Yeah, there is like so much, like the funniest scene in this book so far, apart from the line about Egwene, about Perrin being like, men don't need to be trained to be men, and she's like, that's why you're so bad at it.
Good line.
But no, my
and Tom Merlin's like,
yeah.
Elias is it? Yeah.
Was it Elias?
Oh, it was
Elias. Yeah, because it's later in the book. My favorite scene is when they all get back together, and so much has happened. That Moiraine starts like finding out in the middle of this big meeting, and I just imagine her being like, I'm sorry, wait, no, go, what? Go back, like, what happened? Like,
but that's not where we start off.
No.
Where we start off is Rand has made it back to the Queen's Blessing. Let's get to that conversation, because we're going to talk about that conversation. Rand gets back to the Queen's Blessing, and he's like, hey, the Queen wants me dead. And and Gil, the barkeep, is like, you need to get out of the city right now.
Oh, yeah,
Aleda, you do not mess. We do not talk about Bruno, and you do not mess with Aleda. Those are the 2 rules. And Rand is like, yeah, okay. Okay, and then the White Cloaks just show up, and it's like, oh my god, the net is closing around Rand so fast at the beginning of this.
Yeah, because it's the Queen and Aleda, and then it's the White Cloaks, plus it's the Dark Ones, Dark Friends, and like Trollocs and everything. Like, yeah, Rand is sweating at this point.
Yeah, and then so the dark one, the White Cloaks show up, and they're being all pissy,
and Gil is like, not in my house, not in my house.
I love him so much.
I loved it so. It gave me such joy. And reading it, I was like, oh. He's like, you think you're gonna put the Dark Fang on my door? The Dragon Fang? Good luck. Good luck. Please
try and put the Dark Fang on my door. Bring it.
Yeah, bring it.
Aldan, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
But one of my favorite things about Robert Jordan's writing, and he does it a lot, and I don't see a lot of other writers pick this out as like a detail about humanity. But I find it so fascinating how intently Robert Jordan focuses on it, and it's the way in which people watch something happen without watching it happen. And he's very deliberate about describing characters participating in a conversation by participating aloofly. And like
he wasn't listening, but you was listening.
Yeah, and it's one of those weird things where like I don't know a lot of books where I've had such a like visceral connection to that theme of how characters can exert their force and their power into a conversation without participating in it. And Robert Jordan just has a way of describing it in a way that lets me as a reader feel like I understand what it feels like for the people in the room. Like the oppressive nature of the way Lan is always analyzing the room and is always watchful of them. I feel the oppression of that as I'm reading the book and what the like suffocating nature of that and how that would feel to be in those conversations. And I just think that it is such I don't see a lot of writers focus on those characters. It's usually a like throwaway line like he's there in the corner listening.
Yeah.
But Robert Jordan takes the time to go, this is exactly what he's doing, and this is the way that you know that he's listening without listening.
Yeah.
And it really happens a lot in this book, particularly because of Lan and Tom.
Totally.
And then in this scene with the many men in the room who are ready to fight the White Cloaks.
100%. It's one of those things where we've kind of all been there, and it's something that we understand, but it's such a like, not that's the wrong word. It's not something we always do intentionally.
Yeah.
Right? You are constantly observing and listening, and you have a sense of awareness around you for the most part, which is just like part of our being.
Yeah.
And Robert Jordan is kind of able to put this into words and also differently for all the people that he writes about.
John Long last name brings up, it's a military thing. Warrior and fighting men do this often. And I think that this might be a testament to Robert Jordan's military history and being a veteran, and that being just a part of the way that he views the world and there are a lot of people who view the world that way. There are very few who are able to put it so beautifully into words the way that he does.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately what I'm taking away from the Eye of the World is how beautifully Robert Jordan is able to put his point of view on the world onto a page.
Yeah.
I think it's just, this book is remarkable.
There's so much of Robert Jordan in this.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, I've never had like a favorite author, so to speak, because when I read books, a lot of the times I don't notice a specific author's flavor or take on this, but I think that like, I know it's only one book, but I do feel like Robert Jordan has a unique voice through a novel, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. The White Cloaks obviously leave because they would get their
butts kicked.
Booties slapped around.
Yeah.
And a cook enters the room and she's like, oh, there's a lady in the kitchen. She asked for Rand and Matt by name. And Rand is like, Dark Friends. Wait, I didn't tell the Dark Friends about Matt. Wait a second. And then
he thought it was Eleda already.
Oh yeah, he thought it was Eleda already.
Eleda showed up. He's like, oh no. And then he's like, wait, Eleda doesn't know about Matt?
And then he just starts running to the kitchen. And I love Gil being like,
you idiot.
You don't, wait 1 second.
just chill.
But there's not a lady in the kitchen. There's multiple ladies because we get the first of many interactions. We get the first of many reunions here. This is the best one. The next one is the worst one. But we get them together, and we get to see Nynaeve in a different way for the first time in this book.
Yeah.
Where she is truly like joyful and soft with Rand for the first time. And it is nice to see, because of the way she's been written earlier in the novel up until this point, it is nice to see this other side of her. And obviously to see Rand and Egwene come together in a way that, you know, I know that getting everyone together matters to both of them, but getting the two of them together matters the most to the two of them.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, there's a real love between the two of them.
Yeah.
Even if they're both really shitty at, like, giving each other space.
Yeah.
Be.
Yeah. Who's Elaine?
Who's Elaine? Should you tell him about Elsa? We'll get to that conversation because that happens later. But everyone's back together. And this is where we get into something that does technically feel like it happens in the show, where Moiraine finds out that Matt has the dagger.
She knows immediately looking at him, which I found really interesting.
Yep.
She can sense it so quickly, and this like sense of the one power and like darkness, this awareness that probably most Aes Sedai have, if not all of them, is it's really fun because you never know like what's gonna how it's going to show up. She can tell the difference between the Dark One's power and Mashadar. Yeah. And I this distinction, I was confused about what Mashadar was, because I thought like Mashadar was an evil, like one of the most evil of the Dark One's minions, that like the Dark One's other minions are so scared of Mashadar. But it seems like Mashadar is completely like just like its a neutral entity. Yeah. Which I like the fact that those can exist is fascinating to me. Yeah, that not everything that is bad is an extension of the Dark One. Also, right, yeah. Did you add my ew emote to YouTube? Did you do that? Yeah. Thanks. Great.
What? Have you never seen the Claris Ooh emote on YouTube?
On YouTube? No. Thank you, Alec, for...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I added that. It's my favorite photo of you. You're so cute there.
Thank you. Yeah, Mashadar is like a completely different...
Thank you. Piecing together episode 6 and chapter 41, did you get that Elaine and her siblings were related to Moiraine Damodred?
Only because of Twitter.
Only because someone follows us and tweets at us sometimes whose name is Moiraine Damodred on Twitter. Yeah. And so the only reason I know Moiraine's last name is Damodred is because of Twitter username. Twitter. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think Moiraine's going to marry into that family later in the series. So
No, I don't think so. But yeah, we've seen. Mm-hmm.
So we get a very different version of the dagger here, and I want to talk to you about this because maybe it's something we should say for next week. But the dagger gets pulled out of the dagger, like. Oh, okay. So Moiraine goes to the bed. Sorry, I get distracted by the super chats, y'all. They mean so much. They're very kind. Thank you, Typhonus. The dagger gets thrust at Moiraine. Yeah. And Lan appears out of nowhere to be like, whoosh. Yeah. And I was like, God damn, Lan, you sexy stud of a man. Yeah. And I love the way that he describes it, that Matt is curled up in a ball, and the only thing that's coming out of it is like out, like that he's like he's obviously not in control, and we find out that barely even remembers a lot of what happened. But that like image is so like creepy, like that's like horror level creepy. Yeah, and so this was very described like a horror, like body horror. It was really cool. Yeah. And so Moiraine kicks everybody out, and we just kind of get them in another room. They're waiting, and Moiraine comes in.
She's like, I warned you.
Matt comes in. Moiraine looks exhausted. Yeah. And Matt looks like a completely different person. He's very chipper. He doesn't remember what happened, importantly, and he still has the dagger. Yeah. And Moiraine is basically like, there's nothing I can do here.
I've done what I can.
I need more Aes Sedai if we're going to fix this. Yeah. And the show cuts that.
Yep.
And I feel like this is going to be important to like why everyone ends up in Tar Valon in book 2.
Yeah.
Because there's not really like Matt and Perrin don't have a reason to go back to Tar Valon, but the book gives them one. But the show, and I know that at the end of the show they just show Matt in Tar Valon because I guess it was the closest city to where he leaves them behind.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that like they took away the. I don't know. I miss the. In the show version, I think that when I go back into a rewatch, I'm going to miss the lingering effect of the dagger. And like it really minimizes the damage or the danger of that device.
The after effect, absolutely. I just want to say hello to the Dusty Wheel. Thank you so much
for
Dusty
being
Wheel. Here. I agree. I actually really enjoyed the scene in the show where Moiraine pulled the darkness out of the dagger.
Oh, the visual of it was fantastic.
That was very cool. I definitely one of my favorite parts as well. But yeah, the after effect of the dagger still being there and still being relevant, because we know from a dream earlier on that the dagger is actually important to who Matt is as a character. And
from Min's prophecy.
Oh, Min's prophecy, but also in the dream, there are 3 little statuettes.
Oh, the figurines.
The figurines. One has a wolf beside it, one has the sword, and then one has the dagger. And Matt picks up the one with the dagger, and the Dark One's like, so that one's you. Which means that the dagger has to be related and is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, and Jonathan O'Neill brings up an interesting point. He says the way Matt calls out their fears and thoughts is great. What's interesting about that is they seem to have taken that away from the dagger and given that to the Black Wind in the Ways in the show.
True.
Because the fears and what their darkest thoughts, that I expected that from the Black Wind.
Yeah.
But obviously that doesn't happen. The Black Wind is more of a like force than it is like a telekinetic thought thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
and so it's just interesting that they seem to have taken that from it, and that's like a fun way to adapt something, right? Is take something from one place and keep it in the show by giving it to another force.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that version of it. I don't think that the possession aspect of Mashadar can get a little bit like, well, Matt's not in control, so like he's not accountable for his actions.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that in the show he is a little bit more accountable for his actions because of the way that it's handled.
Yeah.
But yeah, just interesting the way that they adapted that.
Yeah. It's weird because I don't know, because I feel it in my bones that this dagger is going to be very important for many more books to come, and so I don't know what the show is going to do with it. I also wondered if, and I like we kind of already talked about this a little bit, and so I don't know if I actually think this anymore, but my first initial thought, because we don't have this from Moiraine's perspective, my first initial thought was like, maybe she could do more, but she wants a reason to get everybody to Tar Valon. I don't
know, I buy it, because she used the Angreal, right? Like, she used, like, the limits of her power. And I don't...
Yeah.
I think that everyone already wants to go to Tar Valon.
Yeah, and
it doesn't seem like anyone's even reticent about going there yet, so I don't know what you'd get out of that.
And it was like a thought in my head where I was like, I wonder if that's 100% true. Because, a lot of the themes in this book are about hiding information or giving part of information or... there's always that aspect of manipulation, especially in a series like this. But yeah, it just popped into my head. I was like, I wonder if she's like just trying to like give them more reasons to go. But
yeah,
I don't know if I think
feel like everyone's
true.
on board at this point, though.
Yeah,
like, and so much so that it is hard for her to convince them to not go to Tar Valon, because that's the next scene, right? The next scene is everybody's in the room. And they sit down, and this is where we get the necessary, we've gathered back together, let's tell each other our stories. But all of our stories are insane. Like, so, and what's crazy is that everyone has had a crazy adventure, and people still don't believe Rand when he straight up tells them the truth.
I know.
And what's crazy about it is Rand is like pulling names that he wouldn't know.
No, I know.
Right? Like, he's like, it would be crazy for Rand to be like, and then I met Elaine and Gawain and the Queen, and like know all of their names and where the palace is and all of these things, and for them to be like, well, great improv, Rand.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
You're so funny.
And he's like, no, I swear to God, I'm in so much danger right now.
Chat's also telling me Moiraine can't lie. So
I don't know that that's true in the book.
She can't lie?
It's not set up in the book. The oaths of the Aes Sedai are not in the first book. I'm assuming it's in later books, but if I was just a book reader, that I wouldn't know that, right? The fact that the Aes Sedai can't lie has never been mentioned in the entirety of Eye of the World, unless I missed a paragraph.
No, I don't. I think you might be right on that one.
But the concept of the oaths is never mentioned. And what's interesting is in the show, on the flip side, they never mentioned that the warders get get stat buffs by being Aes Sedai's warders. No, but seriously, Lan has superpowers, right? And so does Perrin, and those things are just never mentioned. Yeah. It's going to be weird in later seasons when Lan can do stuff that humans can't do, but for book readers it's not, because you've been told. Yeah.
The serial also brings up another point. We talked about this on our show, Spoiler Chats. The reunion in the show was so
Oh, yeah. And
nobody really cares.
And I understand that there were COVID problems, and that's why the show's version of the reunion was tamped down. But it's the most important part, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
It is the most important scene in the book, is when they come back together, because you have to... When you're telling a book about this, and when you separate your main characters and then bring them back together, the point of the reunion, narratively, is to show that the relationships are still strong, despite the way they've changed from the reunion, or that the relationships are weaker now because of the way they've changed from the reunion. Yeah. And that informs the rest of the book. And by having the reunion be such a odd moment in the show, and I get that it's COVID, and I get that Barney Harris wasn't there, and so they had to do some green screen trickery. Yeah. And I understand all of that, but it ultimately makes it feel like the characters aren't as important to the narrative as they are. Yeah. Because the important moments to the characters are given short shrift time-wise.
Yeah, 100%.
You want to give your main characters the thing that you want to give time to the things that matter to them, not the things that matter to the audience, because we have to care about them, and we have to we have to have relationship with our characters the way that they have relationship with each other. Yeah. And ultimately, I think that, when I look back at the show now, I have such a relationship with Moiraine, and I have such a relationship with Lan, and I have more of a relationship with them than I do with the Emmons Fields Four. Whereas in the book, it's the opposite. I feel like Lan and Moiraine are a little bit untouchable to me. Right. But the Emmons Fields 4 or 5 with Nynaeve are very... I'm very much in a relationship with them when I'm reading. Yeah. And that's clearly 100%. A choice on the part of the show. And I don't hate that choice. I think that Moiraine and Lan are interesting point of view characters. Absolutely. But it is clearly intentional on who the show wanted to put on the front. Because we see all the moments that are important to Moiraine and Lan in the show, we spend time with. We don't get that time with the things that matter to Rand or Matt or Perrin or Egwene or Nynaeve.
100%. Methany, thank you so much for that super chat. Methany says that Tam actually warns Rand that what the Aes Sedai say is always true, but they don't always... But they, what you're saying may not always be, the whole truth or a part of the truth.
Oh,
right? There is, a...
Sure, but that's at that point in the book, we don't know what Tam knows. Yeah. And that, we learned that bit from Tam in a part of the book where we're learning about all of this as myths.
Yeah, right? Legends are remembered as legends and are not always the way that they're remembered or talked about, or, superstitions about such and such group and this group. And so it is, at that point in the book, it is kind of difficult to parse out what is actually true. Yeah. Because there's a lot of things that we learn that change and that are shaped by the world in a way that's actually not what people think they are, right?
I just want to point out, it's been a half hour and we haven't gotten to the third scene. So
cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you're with us, you might be with us for a while. Thank you for being here.
Buckle up. Grab a snack.
This might be a long one.
Refill your water.
So the conversation, we get into a lot of interesting things, but the thing that keeps coming back in the conversation is this prophecy about the Dark One. I think I took a picture of it. So the Dark One wants to blind the serpent. Yep. To kill time,
break the wheel.
Yeah. He wants to break that wheel. Yeah. And my question is, do we get to fight a giant serpent? at some point in the series? Do you think that there will be a big old snake?
Do you think the serpent is also a dragon?
Oh, we'll get into that banner later.
I know.
We will get into that.
We'll get into that.
I do not think there are dragons in this world. Oh, but there's also the Green Man. So, like, I don't know. I really don't know. There's Trollocs. There could be dragons. Drakkar kind of sound like tiny dragons. You know what I mean? Like
pseudo dragons. Can I have a familiar, please?
They're wyverns. But Moiraine is like, wait. What did the Aiel say? Wait. What does
Elena have to do with this?
What about that?
I don't think Moiraine likes Elena very much.
No, because she's Red Aja.
No, I know. It's
just,
it's funny.
One of my favorite things about this whole section, in the way that Moiraine and is talking to Loial, because Moiraine and Loial meet each other, and we get that like very traditional speech between the two of them, which I do love, the honoring of the builder. Yeah. And when we get to Faldara, how much they honor the builder still there.
Glory to the builders.
Moiraine comforts Loial by telling him that she is Blue Aja, and her beliefs are different than the Red Ajas.
Right, because the Red Aja believe that the Ogier actually made the breaking worse by sheltering male Aes Sedai.
Like, one of my favorite sentences in the whole thing.
Wild.
Right? Because
it's fine, I'm Blue Aja. Like...
Because we don't know what that means yet.
No,
obviously,
no.
because of the show, we do.
Understand all the different factions. But right now, in the book, I think they have only mentioned blue, red, and black. And that's it.
There is no Black Aja. There is no Warren Bossing say.
There's still Warren Bossing say.
And then there is no Black Aja in the White Tower. Yeah, we really have only heard about two Aja and this fictional Aja you bring up. And the Red Aja have this belief about the breaking of the world that is fundamentally different from the Blue Aja. And it's
wild.
It is so deep a lore moment that feels like a complicated lore thing. It feels like it's brought up in like the most natural, like this is just an understanding these two characters have.
Yeah, it's not exposition. It's like, yeah, they have, like she wants to be very clear about it and that she has respect for Loial for sure.
Professor Spencer, thank you for that. Rate the show 7 out of 10, but really missed the prophecies of the dragon, character development for the boys, and clear depiction of the stakes. 100%. Yeah. If you go back and watch our spoiler chats, that's what we that's how we feel too.
F's in chat.
F's in chat. Who are the F's for?
I don't know. Did someone spoil anything?
There is no Warren
Bossing
say.
Or maybe F's for the Black Aja. I don't know.
There are no Black Aja. There are no Black. Oh wait, did the stream die? Oh, the stream died. We're back. We're good.
Are we good? Great.
I think we're good.
I was like, why are there F's in chat? Like, I don't understand it. We were buffering. Okay, but we're back.
Argo says, for some reason, I love Show Moiraine more. Fell in love with the show from the first screen. I think it's because Show Moiraine is the protagonist of that.
Yeah, I love Show Moiraine. I love Rosamund Pike. It's a odd choice, I think, made by the show that I don't know if I think it was the better choice, but I love the interpretation of Moiraine Sedai in the show. I really, really do, regardless of whatever else the show did.
I do love that you brought up this Black Aja and suddenly our stream died. I think that is
yeah. And we don't talk about Black Aja, I guess.
No.
We're not allowed to.
Stop saying it.
Sorry. They don't exist. It's not a thing.
So Loial tells the story of, tells this epic story of the ways and why we shouldn't go there. And Moiraine is like, we're doing it anyway. And Loial is like,
no.
And it is interesting, right? Because Moiraine is like, oh, Loial, you can go now. And Rand is like, no, he's coming with us. And Loial's like, I really want to come with you. And then Moiraine is like, okay, we're going through the ways. And he's like,
yeah.
God, I said I'm coming, so I'm coming, but like, I really wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
But also, the idea of Loial being like he could risk his reputation with the Ogier by helping them.
Yeah.
And he still does it. And granted, he also risks his reputation by leaving, but like his connection.
Yeah, he took off.
His connection to his people is at risk if he goes on this adventure, and he chooses to go.
Yeah.
And I already love Loial, but like that to me is that is like doing the right thing, even when it is the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
Is what makes good characters like the best characters.
Yeah.
And I'm so in love with him now. Like, it's so sweet, and like what a giant Titanic level decision to make.
Yeah.
And to just be like, yeah, okay, I don't want to, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I love Loial. I also love, they've referenced the longing so many times, but they still haven't told us what it is in the book yet.
But you get a feeling for what it is, right? Like,
yeah, kind of. It's never it's never exposition-y, like this is what the thing is. It's always brought up in the most natural ways, and you kind of get hints at what it might be without, someone coming in and being like, ah, yes, the longing.
but the only reference we really get to help us understand is that the longing comes from the breaking of the world.
Yeah.
And like something happened to the Ogiers in the breaking of the world that caused the longing. And yeah, it's just a nice touch of something that like isn't important now, but when it is continually brought up later, at some point I'm sure Loial will feel the longing, and then it'll become important. They'll have to like get him to a steading really quickly or something.
Yeah.
It'll become part of the plot later, but yeah, it is touched on in a really nice way.
Yeah, 1,000%. So there's a whole bunch of information thrown around, and Moiraine is like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to Tar Valon.
Robert Power brings up, it's very interesting that none of the driving force of this book is related to the dragon. It's all the Ta'veren angle.
Yes.
What I find so fascinating about that is we don't know about the Dragon Reborn at all yet.
No.
Like, we don't. We know that the three boys are Ta'veren.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, the Dragon Reborn is literally the last line of the book.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, because I when we were talking in the first episode of the book club, I was saying, like, oh, no, you can kind of already tell Rand is going to be the Dragon Reborn. But when you really think about it, you just know that he's the protagonist, but you don't know that he's the Dragon Reborn because the book has not brought up that there is a Dragon Reborn. It is brought up as, like, an idea.
Has it not?
It's never brought up that, like, one of them could be the Dragon Reborn. Right? She just says, the Dark One is after you. We put the Dragon Reborn on Rand, and I knew that Rand was going to be able to use magic because he was the protagonist. And, like, that he would be, like, the hero of the story, the chosen one. But I didn't. The actual being the Dragon Reborn isn't brought up at all until the very last line of the book. It is the final thing that they say. Episode 2, did you think the Aiel in the cage is the same Loial mentioned to Moiraine? To be fair, Ishamael says BA at the end of the book. The Aiel in the cage is the same Loial mentioned to Moiraine. No.
No, I don't think so. Sam, thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you so much. I just think that's. I think the Aiel was in the wrong part of the world, Sand. So I don't know that would work.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I didn't even. Yeah, it's weird going into this with the show in mind because I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's not really. I guess I'm having a harder time separating them than I would have originally thought. Right? It's hard. It's hard to not be influenced, but
there's a ton of false dragons brought up, but the show so obliquely says in the first episode one of you is the Dragon Reborn. Yeah, and the book doesn't do that.
Whereas the book, Moiraine is like the Dark One. Moiraine is like the Dark One wants you, and I oppose whatever the Dark One wants, and that's basically why she's there.
It's just very different. I don't know that I would have been like, oh, Rand is the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah. No, I think
if I'd read the book first, I won't ever know how I would have felt about it though, because I did see the show first, and so, I can't undo that.
Yeah, it's honestly hard to know for sure.
So they're in Caemlyn, and Moiraine goes, all right, we have to go to the Eye of the World now. Yeah. 3 things have come to this moment to tell me that the Dark One is going to attack the Eye of the World. We have to go there right now. And oh boy!
And before they leave, they finally tell Moiraine about the dreams.
Oh, they do, yeah.
That they've been having, and we learn about something called Dreamwalkers.
Mm-hmm. And Moiraine is like, okay, well now you have to sleep real close to me, boys.
Okay,
so
don't make it weird.
Protect you from the dreams.
Don't make
cuddle up, boys.
Don't make it weird. No. Mm-mm.
Come cuddle me. What? Moraine's like, just get real close to me.
That is not what. No, this is fake news. But yeah, we find out about Moiraine is like, I told you to tell me, and then boys are like, like they screwed up so many times, and Moiraine is just like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by idiots. Like she's like, I could have helped. And right now, like, because of this choice, you have made this so much more difficult. Yeah. Congrats.
Not that she could have helped though, because they were separated the whole time.
No, but at the beginning, they had dreams while they were still all together.
But they were all together, and she was close to them.
When she could have told them that you have to, like, deny him, and denying this, like...
a fun drinking game, if you're reading the book, is take a shot every time someone says, I deny you, in the second half of this book.
It's great.
And you'll die.
Literally.
But we also, someone else brought it up in here, James Goss. Perrin got his wolf bros, but also she's like, we need to find ways to protect you. And Perrin, who's just being like, he's just being like the most like old man in the corner, is like, I think I found my own way. And she's like, I think you have.
I think you, I think so. It's like, all right.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. I love it so much. So they are like, all right, we got to GTFO.
Yeah.
And so Gil, the greatest innkeeper on the face of the earth, is like, all right, I got horses, I got lanterns, I got food, supplies, and also
got a secret passage.
If you go through the Batcave, if you open William Shakespeare's head and press the button, some poles will appear in the wall, and you can ride those poles down to the Batcave, and you can get out that way. And I was like, why does this innkeeper have a secret exit?
I don't know. It's amazing. But I was like, wow, literally best innkeeper ever. If you're gonna go to Camelin, guys.
Oh yeah, you gotta stop by Basil Gill. Basil. Good old Basil.
Yeah, no, he kind of saves their asses, because, you know, I'm sure Eleda is out looking for Rand, and we know the White Cloaks are outside snooping about, and we know that someone already tried to put a dragon fang on the door, and, like, got...
But Langren's like, please.
Yeah, please.
Also, I do love the line where they're like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, they are going to try and put the dragon thing on your door. And he's like, I wish they would.
Good luck. Good luck, buddy.
The security's not going to sleep well tonight, but, you know, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, the Elizabeth sleep, but that's fine. So they go through the Batcave.
Based Gil. Based Gil.
They go through the Batcave, and Loial is able to sense where openings to the ways are, the way gates.
With his wiggling ears. Why didn't his ears wiggle in the show?
I didn't have the budget, I guess.
No, but that's such an easy puppetry thing to do, and it would have been so cute if his little ears wiggled.
I know. All good inns should have a secret exit, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Yeah, that's how they got Roosevelt out of the hotel. Or Marilyn Monroe into the hotel? I can't remember. It's one of the two. Or both.
I have no idea. So,
there's a secret tunnel in New York City into I think it's into the Roosevelt Hotel, and it's how they got Marilyn Monroe in so that she could have an affair with JFK. Isn't that the like story that's told?
I don't
know that it's true. I think that that's the story, because they use the tunnels to get Roosevelt out of the hotel because he was in a wheelchair or something. I don't know.
Literally no idea what you're talking about.
They reference it in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well,
the secret entrance is where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man finds his dad's secret lab. Is the tunnel is the tunnel into the Roosevelt Hotel. Yeah,
all right. Anyways, so they find a way.
Reskier says it's 100% true. See, I know things.
You do.
I drink and I know things.
You do know things.
Also, this show is brought to you by me having alcoholic coffee, so enjoy that.
And this is brought to you by Gamersups caffeine juice. Tasty.
I'm drinking Jabby. She's drinking Gamersups. If you want to get yours, it's in the below.
Links below. To power you through, this is going to be a very long spoiler chat. I'm so sorry.
We're not to the ways yet.
We get to the gate, which is underneath some like poor shopkeeper's like shop.
I love that Loial's like, I can break it.
Yeah, I can break it. It's fine.
I'm Moiraine. Moiraine is a good person. At the end of the day, Moiraine is a good person. And she, I am Vendel sings, I only drink Gamer Girl bathwater. Coming soon to the Nerdy Nightly store, Clarissa's bathwater.
I never take baths, so
you're going to have to start, because we're going to start selling that shit. So Loial is like, I can break it. And Moraine's like, no, we have magic. Let's calm down.
You know, this poor guy.
I'm surprised that Lan didn't just pick it. Like lock picking seems like the kind of thing Lan would know how to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So they get into they take their horses downstairs.
I was like, oh, they're gonna leave the horse. Nope, the horses just walk down, and I was like, okay, cool.
Bella gets to come on the whole thing, and like,
They want your bathwater, babe. I'm sorry.
I don't fit in the bath. That's not even a joke. I can't take baths unless I have like...
He's too long.
I take baths at like fancy hotels because they're the only bathtubs I can fit in. One day we'll have like a big clawfoot, but like I can't sit down in our bathtub. Literally, I just can't.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable, and there's no room for water if I'm in there.
Oh my god.
Here's the thing. Okay, I'm 6'4", and here's how 6'4" people take a bath.
Tangent number 1.
Either our feet and like the lower half of our legs are in the water, and our upper body is completely exposed. Or, and this is the better version, but also the probably weirder one to look at, you lie flat on your back with your like everything but your head underwater, and your feet are just poking straight up in the air, not in the water at all. And so you just have really cold legs. And neither of them is great. Neither of them are good bathing experiences.
I will have to take your word for it. Because I'm not 6'4".
I literally, I can't take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry. That's sucks.
It wouldn't be as bad if we had better water pressure here, but our water pressure is middling, and so the temperature's good, but the pressure's...
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the biggest cellar ever, apparently, because they managed to get everyone and the horses into the cellar.
Yeah, no problem.
I expected like some of them to wait outside and them to come through the cellar one at a time, but they get all of the horses and all of the people and Loial, who is 10 feet tall, into this cellar.
Yep, no problem. And Loial's large horse. Like...
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be a different species of horse, but it was just a really big horse.
Just a big
and
horse.
I was like, God damn, that horse deserves all the treats. That horse deserves like
100%. all the apples that it wants. He's a big boy.
And so they
get into the ways.
Yeah, they move a leaf down.
Yeah.
And it opens.
Yeah, and the ways are very different.
But also kind of the same.
Kind of the same, but different, I think, in the sense of the backstory of them. We get so much more information about the ways and how they were created, which is fascinating, and how that they have slowly been corrupted over time.
And I always, like, I was like, oh, the ways were created, and it was just always this dark pathway.
Yeah,
but it used to be beautiful, and that's so tragic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so tragic.
Yeah, and like the way that I was reading it, I was like I was able to imagine what the ways were before, and like then the comparison to what they are now was just really poignant, especially with Loial there, because it means so much to Loial, and like the imagery of like the like pitting in the stone that's like acid, like it's just slowly being eaten away by the air. I also love that the black wind, right?
Yep.
Moiraine is like, I don't know if that was from the taint or if the ways were just so large that like it could have just been an inherent part of it that slowly gained power. Like no one really knows what it is, and that's cool.
Machin Shin.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I
also appreciated that you can like the channeling doesn't bring the wind in the book, which is an interesting touch.
Yeah, it's not that she channels and it immediately like kills them all. It's that her channeling is tainted there.
Yeah, one of the things I will say is that it's tainted like the taint on the men's power. One of the things I will say is I really do. This was one of the sections of the book where I was like, this was really well handled in terms of the adaptation. I think the adaptation of the ways, other than them not having their horses with them, which is whatever. I mean, obviously we want Bella to be there, but it is what it is. As the creator, she should be along the journey. But I actually really like that they interact with the Trollocs in the ways. Because it makes sense that if the Dark One is moving his army through there, that there would be some of his army in there. And so adapting it to not just be like, oh, they find a bunch of Trolloc dead bodies, but they actually get attacked in the ways, and it forces them to move through the ways a little bit faster.
Although the imagery of the like Trolloc horde that had been like frozen and melted and oh my, like, and their like screams, like, oh god, I was like, this is dark.
Yeah. Although I do wish that we had some reference to Pat and Fane being in the ways in the show. Because him clearly following them, it does give very much Gollum vibes.
Yes.
And I guess the one argument against them being attacked in the ways is that it very much is, it's the Mines of Moria.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for sure.
we talk a lot about the show on what is homage to Lord of the Rings because we are both huge Lord of the Rings lovers.
Yeah.
And this scene plays out like the Mines of Moria in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the big one is that Machin Shin and the Balrog both have a very similar size and scope and power power level compared to our heroes. So much so that even at the end, like Moiraine is like using her staff to burn. The way that it was described in the books, with her like shooting a flamethrower out of her staff, it reminded me of Qui-Gon Jinn shoving his lightsaber through the blast doors on the Trade Federation ship and melt. And I was like,
slowly, yeah. That's exactly what I thought as well.
We're going full Phantom Menace here. That's dope.
Apparently, in the ways they do show him like very briefly. We both missed that, Padden Fane.
Oh, I thought that was the Trolloc that they end up fighting.
I thought it was as well.
Oh, interesting.
I did not realize that was Padden Fane, but yeah, that is interesting. There's probably...
I totally missed that Padden Fane was there in the show. That's cool.
It sounds like they put Padden Fane into like a lot of like... briefly into a lot of things.
Well, yeah, because
so
he's also in Tarvalon.
Yeah.
He's like looking at Matt in that one.
He's
scene.
like in the 100%.
Orchid Eater says, I didn't much like how they lit the ways on the show. I think Total Darkness can still work visually. The movie Pitch Black did it very well. I agree. I thought the path was too visible in the show because I was like, how could you fall off? You can clearly see where the ground is.
Yeah.
But that's
it's a weird thing to have.
If they went darker, then people would be like, oh, it's just like episode 2 of Game of Thrones. It was too dark.
Yeah, but thank you for the super chat, Orchid Eater. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Orchid Eater. I appreciate that. I like the ways. I like both versions of the ways work for me. I think the Black Wind really works for me in both versions.
Yeah.
I like that they took the like dagger stuff where they're like telling them their deepest fears in the show. I also like this version where Moiraine has to like burn through the Waygate, which was just so cool.
That was so dope. Did you, when reading the book and they talked about something following them, did you think Padden Fane?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Well, because of the beggar stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so clear that he's been following them the whole time.
And he's not one to, like, attack, right? He, like, scurries away. Like, he hides. Yeah. And that, it totally makes a lot of sense.
Padden Fane obviously is a different character. A very different character.
Different.
They've changed almost everything about him.
Yeah.
But I definitely thought it was Padden Fane, especially because as show watchers, we know that Padden Fane is in Faldara.
Yeah.
But Faldara, not the same at all.
No, it's so
like at all.
So different. They get out of the ways. They're almost there. And
they're also in the ways for like they camp there. One of the things that's interesting is I can't imagine.
Sleeping
there.
In there? No.
I can barely sleep in my own bed. Like, I have terrible insomnia. I would be awake the whole time.
Yeah, literally.
I need to become a warder so that I don't need to fall asleep as much because I barely sleep anyway. So it would help my health.
So you just need to become a warder.
Method, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Have we played Mass Effect? The Ways in the Black Wind visuals, including Nynaeve's bubble, remind me of the suicide mission in Mass Effect 2. No spoilers for Mass Effect 2 because she has not played Mass Effect 2.
I've only played the first one. I will be streaming the second one, but I'm not there yet.
I have played all 3. I agree with you, Method. I very much agree with you.
Thank you for the super chat.
I don't know. I think that this is one of those moments where I was like, I think that this is one of the better adapted parts of the show. The ways to me, I got the same vibe from them. And that to me is the most important thing. Change things, but I want like places to feel the way they feel in the original source material.
Yes.
And the ways to me, the nature of it felt the same.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing to like quantify or qualify. But yeah, I really do think they did a good job. I really do think they did a good job with this.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And then they're on day 2, and Rand is like, I thought you said there wasn't wind in here. And Moiraine is like, run! Flee for your lives!
Run, you fools!
yeah. And they get out just in the nick of time.
She pulls out her lightsaber.
Yeah.
One thing I love about the book, the way the description of getting in and out of the waves, the ways, is that you briefly like move in slow motion. So when you're looking through, it looks like you're like moving through Jello.
Yeah. I love that like nice little detail.
No.
That's fun.
And I we have to call it like the way that Rand like pushes Egwene. He's like, you have to go first.
Go.
Like Rand really despite them not really being able to communicate with each other in the book. Obviously in the show they straight up have sex, so like their communication is very different. Yeah. But in the book they can't communicate with each other, but Rand, his first intention in every moment is to move Egwene to safety.
Yes.
And I love how much the book pays attention to that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And then they're in Faldara, basically. I mean, they have to travel a little bit further.
Well, yeah, and Moiraine is like, oh no, I broke the gate. we have to go tell not Gilgamesh, Algamar?
Gilgamesh?
What's his name?
Agamar.
Agamar. Yeah. She's like, we have to go tell him to ward this.
Here's the gate.
To close this up.
Close it up.
I broke it.
Real quick.
Oh no, the ways. It's broken.
Oh God. Yeah, so they get the hell out of there. And I love that the immediate thing, like getting to they immediately get to Faldara and everyone's like, Daishan. Hello.
Daishan. Yeah,
yes.
like it's
glory to the builders.
Everyone
Daishan.
is like in the street partying that Lan is here, and I was like, this is what he deserves. What? Lan is best boy, and when he shows up, the party gets going.
Yeah. Ship captain.
Ship captain. Guys, ship captain will return, I promise. I just love it. I love the excitement. I love the joy. I love that. And what I love about the joy is
it's countered by
that Lan is viewed by these people as bringing hope in this moment when they're about to lose hope.
Die. Yeah.
And they view the coming of Daishan as this like triumphant, oh, we're saved moment. And he's not there to bring them the news that they want him to bring.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking in a way, but it's also beautiful that like this man who I love so much, mostly because Daniel Henney's performance, honestly. Like I'm so in love with Daniel Henney.
I love him.
But this man brings hope with him into the city.
Yeah.
And it just is so touching and so it's so it makes this it adds the epic part of the epic fantasy, right?
Yeah.
It's this like how deep this lore is brought about in the simple exclamation of a word that we don't even know what it means, right? Yeah. I have no idea what Daishan means, and yet seeing all of these people who we've never met in the book scream it at him allows us to understand how much he means to the world. And it's character development through the actions of characters in a way that I appreciate so much about Robert Jordan's writing.
Yeah. And we find out we get to learn Lan's entire backstory.
Type the disc says, Lan is the Black Eyed Peas. Let's get this party started.
Damn.
Yeah, but only the radio version of that song.
I had that album. I don't know why. I was like 12. It's fine. We get Lan's basically entire backstory from Agamar, which is really, really cool. And we find out about the betrayal and the politics and like the complicatedness of him losing his home and like how it was all brought about and that
because I thought it was just that the Blight encroached and
exactly
but the
Blight got there.
The Blight won because of the greed of man.
Yeah.
And like that.
Well, in this case, woman.
Yeah.
But it was like I was like.
It comes down to the greater story, right?
Yeah.
Like the greater story of this book to me is that the light wins when we come together and support each other, and the dark one wins when we don't, when we act on our own self-interest and when we do things for ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's like I was saying about the thematic importance of the Eye of the World being where Saidin and Saidar came together to create a weapon to fight the Dark One.
Yeah.
The thematic importance of coming together and Lan's backstory is thematically important to the concept of the Dark One wins when we don't come together.
Yeah.
The Dark One wins when we put ourselves above the whole. And that is the underpinning of the entire book. That is what this is all about. It's why the reunion scene is so important, because when they are apart, they're on the run and there's nothing they can do in any situation except flee because they're not strong enough apart to do anything.
Yeah.
They're just in danger. But when they come together again, then they can head off on an adventure and actually accomplish something because they have each other.
Yeah.
And like that's literally the point that is the message of the book, and it's so important.
Exactly. And like in the show, it's literally like Rand and Moiraine by themselves, and I think that takes so much away.
It doesn't understand the theme of the book.
Yeah.
It fundamentally doesn't understand the theme of the entire novel to split them up for the final part of of season 1.
Yes.
And I find that really it's a tough pill to swallow, I think, when I do a rewatch of that finale. When they leave on their own. I like the first 7 episodes of the show a lot. I still think the first 7 episodes... I think the first 7 episodes of the show are some of my favorite television from last year.
Yeah.
And then the finale, to me, is really tough.
Yeah.
And, Haluk, thank you for that.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you for that super
duper chat.
Who was your favorite character that was in the book, but not... in the show, but not in the first book? Leandrin's fantastic, but that's the actress, probably. I love that actress.
Yeah, favorite character that was in the show but not in. How many? I mean, the Emmeline Seat.
Oh, Swan,
I have to say, she's fantastic, but I feel like there's not too many of them except for Aes Sedai. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the biggest difference. But yeah, I totally agree with you that I think that Robert Jordan really hit home with this theme of working together, and I think, like you said, that's his background in the army. And, learning to, not put yourself first. To put, the greater good first in that sense of, bettering the world or the situation or even just the day for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that we are stronger together.
Yeah. So, pumped to see the Dusty Will in the chat. Us, too. Thank you for that super chat, GI Sox fan.
Thank you,
Yeah, we don't watch the Dusty Wheel a lot, only because we don't want to be spoiled.
We don't want to be spoiled. I literally went looking for stuff to watch on the Wheel of Time because I was like, I'm so into it. I want more. And then I was like, actually, I'm going to wait a little bit.
The problem with Wheel of Time content for us is that almost everyone has read more than we have.
Oh, yeah.
We know that we're the new kids on the block, and we're like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dusty Wheel is saying don't.
So I just like all of their tweets, and then I just know that one day I'll watch their show.
Exactly.
I've got 15 books from now. I'll be in the chat.
Robert, hi, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Coming together. It was a theme that I don't think that the show quite understood.
But the last gift of the last age allows them to win. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Oh yeah.
The pool.
The Eye of the World.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And that the Eye of the World is the combination of men and women together make the Eye of the World.
Yes.
I wish that was. I just wish there was a line in the show that it was created by them together. Because
agree.
we know that the Dark One's prison was created by just the men.
Yeah.
And so.
But also, the show does at least kind of touch on it with if the women had been there. Or no, that's not even in.
The show brings up that if the women had been there, they would have won.
Yeah.
The show only brings up women as being so disdainful of men that they don't help, and that's not. That in the Eye of the World, that's not the case. The women do help create the Eye of the World. They help create this weapon to fight the Dark One, right? There are examples of compassion and coordination, and that's important.
Yeah.
We're in Faldara. Everyone's like, we got to get Daishan to Agomar.
Yeah.
It's important. We meet Ingtar, whose name was really hard for me.
Yeah.
As someone who has a mild form of dyslexia, Ingtar, the word it was tough. I don't know why it was so hard for me to read it, but every time it came up, I would be like,
I think it's because that sound is not usually at the beginning of words in the English language.
I kept reading Gintar, and I was like, his name's Ingtar, but I kept reading Gintar.
Yeah, I think it's just because of how the English language, what we're accustomed to.
Yeah. And so Agomar's like, get in here, Daishan. He's my boy.
He's like, oh, you're here to help us.
The boys are back.
The boys are back.
And I loved they have basically this long conversation. Pat and Fane is skulking on the walls. He gets taken into custody.
Yeah.
Moiraine takes him downstairs, and she's I hope not torturing him.
Probably.
But I was reminded of in Witcher season 2 when Tissaia has her hands in the Lord Commander's head.
Oh yeah.
And
oh god, that's
we get to this conversation where Agomar and Moiraine are talking about how they have to go to the Eye of the World, and Agomar's let me send you 100 men, and she's like, no. He's like, let me send you 10 men. Yeah, she's like, no. She's like, and then he's like,
don't take these three.
Leave these 3 boys behind. They're useless.
Yeah. Literally, he's like, what the hell are they gonna do? And she's like, oh no, it's these 3 that I need. And he's like,
And you could just tell he's like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
all right, pack it up, boys.
He's like,
if they're the hope for the world, we're done.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm gonna die tomorrow, so that's cool.
But Danny, sorry for that. No more Witcher spoilers, we promise. He does recognize that Perrin is a fighter.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Perrin has like no training.
Wait, no. Doesn't he look at Rand and
he sees the sword, but he looks at Perrin as a fighter. And I think that there's something about his wolf brotherness is making him come across. Everyone is looking at Perrin and being like,
well, and his eyes are
did
yellow.
Did you start lifting? Like what, Perrin?
Do you even lift, bro?
Perrin, the pecs look juicy, brother.
We love a juicy peck.
We love a juicy peck.
We really do.
We really do.
Oh God. But like his reaction to like the boys in that moment and being very concerned about who they are and like what that means is a reaction that like I don't feel like we get in the show. Right? Like that, like, well, because, danger.
But this is what we keep saying about the show, is that the show doesn't set up male channelers to be as dangerous as the book does.
Yeah.
Partially because the Emond's Field 5 don't view one of them being the Dragon Reborn as one of them being the Antichrist, the way that they do in the book. In the book,
yeah, literally like, the Antichrist.
They literally view the Dragon Reborn as the Antichrist. And in the show, they're told that one of them is the Dragon Reborn, and they're like, well, okay, we're going on the adventure. And like the show has so downplayed how dangerous male channelers are. Whereas the show portrays it as if it is dangerous to be a male channeler. Yeah. Whereas the book portrays it as dangerous for anyone who is male to channel. And that is there's a difference there. There's a distinction between the two that I think like Logain on the show kind of leans into how dangerous the Dragon Reborn could be. But it's just a different point of view.
Yeah. So thank you for the super chat. You know our favorite.
Who is your favorite ship captain from the book?
You know our favorite ship captain.
His name is Ship Captain. Put some respect on his name, Skode. Put some respect on his name.
How dare? No, thank you for that.
And so so Agelmar's like concern that one of those boys can channel is like deep-rooted cultural understanding of the world for him. Oh, right? Yeah. And it makes it really tense in the room for a minute. Yeah. And Moiraine has to be like, you've trusted me up until now, friend. You have to trust me past this point. Yeah. And he does. He acquiesces to this thing that he very fundamentally doesn't believe in. And it makes me want to know what these people have been through together. Like, I want a flashback with Moiraine, Lan, and Agelmar to whatever they've been on before, because there's no reasonable way Agelmar would agree to this with his understanding of male channeling, unless there is something like truly deep in their relationship, right? Yeah. And I want to know what that is. Yeah. Yeah, it's... 3 times Taverin. We got that 3x Taverin.
3x. Taverin cubed. Yeah, this... And we talked about it, like, that they're barely in Faldara very long. They're there we meet Agelmar, and we find out that they're basically marching to their deaths tomorrow.
And he's like, you gonna stay for a couple weeks? Yeah. Which is confusing. Because he's like, you guys are gonna stick around for a while, right? And then... she's like, no, we're leaving tomorrow. And he's like, oh, okay, that's good, because we're also leaving tomorrow. Yeah, that was a little bit strange. Yeah. But yeah, he and his like disappointment that they're not going to be able to come with him is like, it's palpable. Understandable. But you're about to go fight 100,000 Trollocs? You want Moiraine to die. 100%. If I'm about to fight 100,000 Trollocs, I am calling up Moiraine and being like, yo, girl, getting in, loser, we're going shopping. Tiny bladder time. Are you leaving again? Yeah, I am. Oh my god, the professionalism. The gamer subs, it gets to me. Keep talking. I'm gonna just talk to chat for a minute. It must have been difficult for the show to keep the boys more or less useless for the first season. In many current shows, all characters are superhuman, which makes it difficult to build suspense. And that's an interesting point, getting wrecked. I think that one of the things the show decides to do is make the show about who the Dragon Reborn is. And in doing so, it stunts their character growth, in my opinion, because they have to constantly make the choice to not push Perrin's Wolf Brother stuff forward because they don't want to get too close to the Dragon Reborn, to not like push Rand's channeling forward because they don't want to get too close to the Dragon Reborn. And I think that a lot of my feelings about the show get caught up in that one decision to make the mystery of the Dragon Reborn, the mystery box thing that J.J. Abrams made famous with Lost. They decided to do that with the show. And I think that now that we're past that mystery box, we're going to get all that character development, and it's going to be a lot easier for them to use the boys the way they're used in the series and push their characters forward now that they don't have to like make everything about the mystery box that they thrust those characters into. Sand says, will the book club continue with books 2, 3, 4? Are you going to wait till after season 2? No, we're doing... So next week is going to be a full book 1 review and comparison to the show. And then the week after that will be the first 11 chapters of The Great Hunt. And we're continuing every Friday, y'all. We're doing 4 weeks of book, 1 week review. Except for, February 11th, I think it is.
That might be there's the second Friday of February. We're going to be in LA, so we're not going to be able to do that anyways.
So we're going to we're going to be in LA for that Friday, so that we're going to take that 1 week off. But
yeah, I'm so sorry.
We're going to have a reading schedule up soon.
Yes, we're going to share the reading schedule for the next few weeks with y'all. Before we get back into Faldara, someone earlier in the chat did bring up that we haven't really talked about the Heronmark sword, and that it hasn't been a prevalent part of our discussions, but...
I don't understand. I don't know what it is yet.
That's the thing. We don't know what it is. We know that it's like the blade of a master, and that's it. That's it. And people recognize it. That's all the information we know, so I feel like if you're further ahead in the book, you can understand the significance of it, but for us... We got nothing. We got nothing. So that's why we haven't really talked about it because there's just not much for us to say.
The Dusty Whale says The Great Hunt is still in my top 5 of these books, which is very exciting. A lot of people say Great Hunt's the best one.
Really? Okay, yeah. I'm so excited.
Are you sure you're going to do 4 segments per book instead of more, considering the amount of things to discuss? We're going to push for 4 because we want to get to the end of the series.
Yeah, we don't want to get to the last book 2.5 years from now.
Yeah. Aldan, thank you for... I don't know what A is. Is that Australian dollars? This is just for continuing the book club. Much love. This is cathartic for me after episode 8. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Thank you so much for that super duper chat.
Roy Mitch says the idea of Who's the Dragonborn being a spoiler, even though it isn't, is free marketing, so that's why I think it was done. I agree with that. I just think that the mystery box television format works for marketing, but it doesn't work for adaptation because half of your audience knows what's inside the box, and the other half doesn't care.
Yeah, yet.
And so
they don't care yet.
It's fun when mystery boxes are fun with new properties. Lost is a great example of how to do a mystery box well for a couple of seasons and then forget about it. And then I actually like the ending of Lost. I think the last few episodes wrap it up.
I never got there.
Yeah. But the problem with doing a mystery box in adaptation is that half of the audience, and honestly, probably more than half of the audience knows what's in the box, right? And it would be like if Peter Jackson had decided that we weren't going to know what the ring was until the end of Fellowship of the Ring. They were just going to go on the adventure, and Frodo was going to be concerned about the ring the whole time. And the problem is that anyone who's read the books knows that it's the one ring. Yeah. And so for half of your audience, you're asking the people who already care about the thing that you're adapting to sit back and watch a mystery play out that is just not interesting to them. Yeah. Because they know the end. And for the new audience, you're asking for them to wait to know who these characters are until the mystery box is opened. Yeah. And I don't know. Anytime you add a mystery box to an adaptation where the mystery box wasn't in the original source material, I've never thought that it works.
No, I can't honestly think of an example where it works either. Yeah. But yeah, should we talk about Padan Fain and what we learn about him? And I mean, obviously starting off right away, he's completely different in the show than he is in the books. In the books, he is literally he's less than human, right? Yeah. He is the lowest of the low, and the wildest part about it is this compulsion that the Dark One lays on him. He gets summoned and brought to Sheol Gul, right? And the Dark One basically does something. We don't really know.
And what I love about it is he's obviously like a Gollum import, as Fudgy says. But what I love about it is that we've seen the descent of him.
Yeah.
And so when we meet Padan Fain at the beginning of this book, he's standing on his carriage and he's like, "Oh, look at me, I'm Padan Fain. It's time for me to tell you the story of the outside world. There's war in Gilded."
The Dragon Reborn. Yeah,
and so to watch him go from that, and through his interactions with the boys, and clearly his interactions with Shai Al Ghul, to watch him, we get to watch Smeagol become Golem instead of just having Golem at the beginning and Smeagol's a flashback at the beginning of the third movie. Yeah. Right? Like, that is such a, like, fascinating way to handle this character.
Yeah.
And it does, in a way, make me more empathetic towards the journey he's been on, while also acknowledging, like, he chose evil. And, like, that's hard, but, like, he kind of regrets it now, maybe. Yeah. Or part of him does and part of him doesn't. Like, that's complicated.
Yeah, right? Because it's one of those things where people who are in power and manipulate others will promise you things once they get what they need, and like, what do you have to endure to get there? And Padan Fain has endured things that, like, we, because Moiraine does not understand. Like this idea of, like, distilling him and, like, laying this compulsion on him where he cannot rest until he drops dead.
Yeah.
Like, until he finds the boys. And that's, like, horrifying.
Yeah, I wish they'd given this to show Padan Fain a little bit, just because that actor is so talented.
Oh, the actor.
That I feel like he would have, like... I wish they'd given show Padan Fain more, only because... in that final scene that we get of him in the show, and in the first episode, I think the show Padan Fain is one of my favorite actors on the show. Honestly, I think that he is, like, he has a magneticism to him that just, his charisma is, like, off the charts, right?
Yeah.
And so I hope that he is given a lot to do, because I feel like every time he's on screen, I am electrified by his presence.
Yeah.
And I like show Padan Fain a lot. I think that the final moment is a little bit... underserving in the show, and we'll get to the horn and all of that at the end, but the actor who plays Padan Fain on the show is such incredible casting for that character, and I can't wait for more of him.
Yeah, I am actually really hopeful that that in later seasons we see a kind of decline to Padan Fain, because right now he is still very much the cheery peddler that we meet at the beginning of the books. And I hope that he does get some kind of arc, some, like,
because he just has big dick energy.
Yeah,
like, show Padan Fain.
Big dick energy.
If you look up big dick energy in the book, in the dictionary, in the dictionary,
in the back.
Oh yeah, in the glossary. Actually, if you look in the glossary of this edition of Eye of the World, there is big dick energy. Big dick energy.
Oh, it's Padan Fain.
And yeah, it's just a picture of Padan Fain.
Yeah.
Weirdly, it's a picture of the show actor.
Yeah, he wasn't even born yet. Well, maybe, I don't know.
The book's 20 years old. How old do you think that actor is?
He does not look the same. It was working, and then I ruined it. He wasn't
born yet.
You know what? I ruined it.
It does feel like this was written, like, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah.
And not in, like, a bad... Not in a bad way.
And Ingletar wants to know what we thought of the sort of Malkier and the poet. It's...
Malkier and then the poet.
And Lan the poet. When Lan, when Rand is, like, Lan doing poetry?
Oh.
It was hot. And I understand why it got Nynaeve wet in her knickers.
Yeah, you. If you're Nynaeve, you're moist crossing the Blight. That's for sure.
She gets moist crossing the Blight.
Yeah.
You don't want to be moist crossing the Blight, Nynaeve. Read the shirt.
How much funnier this is, having read the book.
The big dick energy definition is in the Bible. Yes, Jesus had big dick energy.
Yes 100%.
1000%.
Yeah. So Moiraine.
I can't say that joke.
Potentially. Oh God.
So they go to bed.
Yeah, Moiraine potentially...
Dusty Wheel! What? Congrats on your success. Robert Jordan said, in the first chapters of The Eye of the World, I tried a Tolkien-esque feel by way of saying to the reader, okay, this is familiar. Do you like or dislike the Tolkien similarities so far?
First of all, thank you
so much. That is remarkably kind.
That's a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious chat.
Yes, it is.
That's what we have dubbed that. I love, actually, the Tolkien references, because they never feel like they are copied and pasted. They feel like they are respectfully homaged.
Yeah, when we were talking a few episodes ago about Shadar Logoth. And we were talking about how it is Rohan if Grima Wormtongue was never taken out of Rohan.
Yeah, if they want. Yeah.
I love the way that Robert Jordan treats the Lord of the Rings in this series almost as if it is one of the past ages of this world.
Yeah.
There's just a lot about the way Robert Jordan infuses hints at the Lord of the Rings or homages to Lord of the Rings that feel like it honors the fact that this book couldn't exist without Lord of the Rings, but also acknowledging that this book is an evolution of our fantasy culture from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of both. And I think that is the best way to homage the thing that inspired you to write the thing that you wrote.
Yeah.
And I think that, I just think it's beautiful the way that he did it.
Yeah, I agree. All the like little things that we pulled out, they feel like familiar in like a warm way and not like, oh, I've read or seen this already. Right? And I think that's how you do it. That's how you like pay tribute. That's how you respect someone else's work while still while making it your own, right? He really does make it his own, and we have been told that in later books it's more of his own thing, and then this first one definitely has a lot, like pulls a lot from it. But yeah, it never feels stolen.
Yeah.
It never feels like it's a bad thing. It's like a warm friend.
Fanofeka says, Dusty Wheel asks good questions. Maybe he should make a YouTube channel about Wheel of Time. Have you thought about a YouTube channel?
Yeah, have you considered that? That's not a bad idea. You should. I'm sure there's a market for that.
So we it's time to go to the Blight.
Time to go to the Blight.
And so this is where I think that the show's adaptation doesn't do a good job. Because the Blight in the show, to me, everyone was like, oh, they're going to go to the Blight. It's dangerous there. And I was like, you don't want to be moist crossing the Blight. And that's where this hilarity came from. And then in the show, the Blight is just a bunch of trees. And nothing happens in the Blight.
And here's the thing. I have to say, I actually loved the design of the Blight in the show. Having never read what the Blight was, I loved the, like, almost inside-out trees. Like, I loved the visual of it. I understand what they were going for, but the Blight wasn't like. And it's not anything. It's not anything. It just looks cool. That's all.
In the show, they're like, don't touch anything, and then they fall asleep like on a tree in the Blight. And and I think that this is COVID, and I think that this is not having enough episodes. But the Blight is the big climactic action sequence of the book, and it's awesome. Like, Lan running into the trees and coming back more bloody every time is so freaking cool. And, like, the fact that Matt is a good archer, and he's so...
Yes.
Lan puts Matt at the beginning of the party because he's legitimately valuable for his ability to be an archer.
Big brain.
Perrin is used because his axe can get through the trees, and he's at the back of the party because his axe can fend things off from the back. Moiraine has a flamethrower, and is using a flamethrower in the danger jungle, and it's freaking cool!
In the danger jungle?
And they're together. They're a team.
Yes.
And they're a team. And all of these things together are so cool and character building and like it feels epic and it feels huge. And the finale of the show feels so small. And I get the COVID and I get all of the excuses for that, right?
Yeah.
But you're adapting this. You're adapting this epic moment of like the grand chase from multiple kinds of monsters in this huge forest of danger. They don't know where the end is. The Green Man comes when they need him the most.
Yeah. Like,
and what we got was just kind of like a short walk. Like they go on a hike that like we've been on.
Yeah.
That would be a hike that would be if I were to look at like Hike Tracker or whatever that website's called, we wouldn't go on that hike because it would be too easy for us. And I'm not even in that good of shape.
You just put on some good hiking boots and yeah.
It's tough because I love the first 7 episodes of the show. I really love the first 7 episodes of the show. I love the characters. I love Nynaeve and Lan. I love a lot of it. Yeah. And then the finale is just so small. And the moments and the finale of the book is so big. It's so big and epic and character driven. Yeah. And I just it's tough.
The scale of it is wrong.
Yeah.
Like it feels wrong. But I was trying to start with like something nice, where I was like, oh yeah, the Blight, the design that looks really cool.
But nothing happens in it.
But that's the only good thing I have to
like
say
the tree. Yeah,
about
the trees look decayed and cool.
Yeah. Like the design looked dope. But other than that, everything is off about it. And the moment. Where, first of all, I love that Moiraine is like, no, I am a channeler, we're gonna be fine. Nothing's gonna, just stay close by, and it's all gonna be fine. And then Matt is like, it looks like those trees want to grab us. And it's funny, Egwene and Nynaeve always like shit on Matt. They're like, and then the trees literally attack them. And I was like, this is horrifying. And Moiraine is like, this shouldn't be happening. Like, the things that I know to be true are no longer true. Which is, I mean, horrifying. There's literally trees coming out and like these like, not Trollocs, but like, I almost felt like they were Trolloc-like monsters that had been like mutated.
Well, it feels like all of the monsters are mutated from a similar like strand.
Yeah.
And like it's just like different kinds of mutations. Like the Trollocs are a kind of mutation. The Drugcar are like Trollocs with wings. The worms are like these horrifying, very scary things that I don't ever
want to see one.
The sticks are cool, and that they're just called sticks.
The sticks, you don't touch the leaf. The stick will bite you, and your whole body will just decay if you don't cut your finger off.
But I love that they don't give them another name. They just call them sticks.
Sticks.
And it's like, that's a stick and that's a stick, but that's just a stick, and that stick will kill you. That stick you will die.
Yeah. Don't touch the sticks.
And they get into this epic fight, and it's awesome, and it's rad. And then they get to a hill, and they're like, we should go to bed.
Wait, no.
Do they get to the hill? No, that's the second day.
The hill is the second day.
The stick is the first day.
Because they're not even really in the Blight
right.
the first day, apparently. Right. It just is smelly and humid and, like, gross.
And then, okay, so let's get to the camping scene, because I have thoughts. I have thoughts about the camping.
Sorry, we talked about the fight before the camping scene, even though they happen in the other order. But the camping scene...
I'm going to edit this. No, I'm not. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to post it.
Sorry,
so the camping scene, they set up a little oil lamp because they don't want to burn the wood, which is like, that's cool.
Yeah.
The concept of like, oh no, you can't even trust the trees here is like, that makes it so dangerous. And then they have a little bit of tea and they go to bed. And then Rand can't sleep, so he's just listening. And Nynaeve crawls over to Lan and is like, hey, I brought you some tea. Also, do you want to fuck right now?
Yeah, literally. Do you want me to be your wife?
And then we get the epic lines from the book, from the show. That everyone was like, oh yeah, this is book stuff. But Nynaeve, what are you thinking? Nynaeve, what are you thinking?
I don't know. And
it is muggy. You are gross. Sweaty. It is gross. Rand can hear you.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to bone down right now?
They're all so close together because they have to be in like Moraine's sphere and like I know Matt or I think Perrin is like snoring a little bit and Matt might be asleep, but like Rand like clearly isn't. He's like moving around and she does not give a damn. She's like, it's now or never. We might die tomorrow, so like let's do the dang thing. Kind of out of nowhere. Like for us, we were both like, that comes out of nowhere.
In the show, it works because they give them a bedroom, and but like in this moment in the book, they're like inches away from each other. We should also talk about before they go to bed. Matt and Perrin are ruthless. Matt and Perrin are absolutely ruthless.
They're such little shits.
Because Perrin's like, so it's not like dancing with Aram, is it, Egwene? And Rand is like, who's Aram? And Matt's like, oh, do you want to tell Egwene about Elsa? And Rand's like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. He's like, what?
Nerdy Nightly, did you shed a tear when Rand pretended to sleep to avoid seeing Nynaeve cry? Nynaeve, it's your fault. It's not the time. Nynaeve and Lan work for me. I get why they're into each other.
Totally.
It's not the time.
It would be so gross.
I love having sex with my wife. I'm gonna say it. I really do enjoy having sex with this woman.
Thank you.
But in the heat of summer, when it is muggy and we're both kind of gross in bed, we don't have as much sex because it's just not as pleasant. You know, we save sex for the shower.
We don't have air conditioning.
You know, we have a cold basement. Maybe we'll go have sex down there on the foam in like our workout area. But like, we're not having muggy, sweaty sex because it's not pleasant.
No.
Also, these 4 people that you think of as like children are there.
Literally right there. Like
Nynaeve has a voyeurism kink. She wants an audience. Nynaeve is all about that audience. Samantha, thank you for that super chat. Before your book to show recap, you should watch Brandon Sanderson's podcast where he discusses the first 4 episodes. It's episode 27. Ooh, I'll have to check that out, Samantha.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you for the super chat.
Wow. Maybe it is a voyeurism thing.
Maybe. And, like, hey, you know, we don't kink shame here at the Nerdy Nightly. We don't kink shame. But, like... But like the voyeurism thing has to, like, you gotta consent. Those kids don't wanna.
I don't think she implies what you think she implies. What else could she imply in the moment though?
Okay. She like comes over and she's like, I should have known you would be a king. Like, not a king, just a man. Some women don't ask for land or gold. Just the man. That is a proposition of sex if I've ever heard one. If I came over to you and was like... That's yours. I don't know who that is. So. Is it a delivery? It might be a delivery, yeah. Oh, to answer it. This is our podcast. I leave to go get packages. Okay. All right. Give me your phone. I'll go. I'll be back. I'm not going to lock myself out this time. Here, let me just... Yeah, my husband's going to come get you. Where are you? Hi. He's not going to lock himself out this time, thankfully. Hopefully. Actually, you know what? I promise absolutely nothing. This is the Nerdy Nightly, where delivery people can never find our apartment. But, like, come on, guys. Like... Just the man, like, that's, come on. And then Lan is like, and the man who would ask her to accept so little would not be worthy of her. Guys, we know exactly what's going on here. We know. Nynaeve wants it, and I do not blame her. Lan is hot. If Nerdy and I were ever in a situation, anyways, look, I know, marriage, but, like, with marriage comes the boning down, comes the fun bits, right? Come on, guys. It's obviously, like, meant to be, like, more of a period thing and being like, yes, I want to, like, marry you. The marriage implies boning down, okay? All right? And poor Rand is just, like, sitting there listening, like, oh, God, how do I get out of this situation? Like, what is... Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he basically turns her down. Like, he says the lines from the show that I thought... I mean, they were so poignant in the show, and everyone was like, yeah, they were pulled directly from the book. Thank you. It's so cold outside. Did you run? Yeah. I didn't want to miss the show. I'm having fun. Chat's mad because they think that she's implying marriage, which... I agree with, but with marriage... What? With marriage comes the fun parts. You're about to die. Wait until you survive. I'm just saying, like, I'm marriage or sex, it doesn't matter. My point is that it's about timing. If you want to propose tomorrow. Nobody's so out of breath. Unless they want to, like, die, and unless she's like, I would rather die engaged to you than die a single woman. Yeah, what but also no, because she doesn't know that she's going to become an Aes Sedai yet. She at this point is still a wisdom, and she doesn't wed. No. She says, wisdom seldom weds, but if I go to Tarvalon, it may be that I will be something other than a wisdom. But there's an if there. Sure. If you were to propose to me, and you're like, I want you to agree to marry me, and there's a chance that I will be able to marry you back. If I do this, I'll marry you, but you have to say yes now. That's crazy. Timing. Timing. It's true. Nynaeve, now is not the moment for it, but she does it anyway. Inglaterra says she isn't as loose like you Westerners. In the show, they literally fuck here. Yeah, I don't know. She barges in on Lan half naked and then spends the night in his bed. Half naked? Oh, Lan is half naked. I was like, she doesn't. No, on Lan. He's half naked. Yeah. No, you're right. I thought you implying she was naked. But yeah, so then we get these beautiful words, which are directly from the book, which it was funny when we talked about it on the show, we're like, wow, this moment, it's because it's pulled directly from the book. Where, you know, he says, I will hate the man you choose because he is not me and love him if he makes you smile. Mm-hmm. And like, Lan, why? It's romantic. It hurts. It's romantic as fuck. It is. I really hope they end up together. You're a lioness.
Which again begs the question, how do they know what a lioness is? Are there lions still?
Maybe.
What survived the breaking of the world? Lions are almost extinct now. No, but I'm not joking. Like,
yeah,
rhinos are like functionally extinct right now.
That's true. Lions are doing okay, actually.
Nope.
Aren't they?
They're not.
Oh.
It's bad.
Huh. All right.
Most Saharan animals not doing great.
Well,
at the
apparently
moment.
Lions are fine in the post-apocalyptic future, guys.
Ooh,
don't worry
mountain
about
lion,
it.
mountain lions. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's got to be lions.
The lion is the sigil of Andor. Interesting.
There's always lions around. Yeah. So that was the camping scene.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the fight scene.
Yeah, and then we get
to the Green Man.
Das Green Man,
y'all.
One thing I want to bring up: Perrin and Lan not sweaty. They're dry boys.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that Perrin being a wolf brother means he can regulate his body temperature completely, I guess.
The scene was romantic, but in the show it lacks the Lan is destined to die in the Blight context. That is true.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Two Rivers is conservative and straight-laced, says Ingiltara. No, because in the first scene of the show, Rand and Egwene have sex in the kitchen.
Yeah, the parents are like, you guys do your thing, and we're just gonna leave.
In the first 10 minutes of the show, our protagonists have sex. And they're from the Two Rivers. I'm just saying, our perspective is skewed by the show, admittedly.
Mm-hmm. I know, that's what I was thinking. I was reading this and I was like, she wants to
Ingiltara, Rand is a virgin. Oh, 100%. In the book, Rand is definitely a virgin.
We know that. I mean, the way that they can't...
Because Perrin is the one who knows how to talk to women, right?
Yeah, no, but Rand is the one who knows how to talk to women.
No, Perrin. Perrin definitely knows more about how to talk to women.
No, I actually think Rand knows a lot more.
I don't know. I think that we should get them together and they should talk to each other about how neither of them knows how to talk to women. They both have this like thought about the other that they're like, oh god, the other one's so good.
It's so funny how they view one another. Do you have my phone, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
No, I actually gave it to the Amazon guy. I figured he could,
as payment?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a nice tip.
We work on the barter system in Canada.
Gosh, well, I mean, it has our stream running, so maybe he'll pop in to chat.
He'll be a viewer.
We get to the Green Man, y'all. We get to the Green Man. And it's so fun.
Here's my thing. He doesn't describe really the Green Man's like situation.
What do you mean?
But do you think the Green Man is just a giant man swinging dong?
What?
Well, why would the Green Man wear clothes?
Oh, he doesn't want to intimidate anyone.
Oh, because it's just so big.
Yeah.
It's like an elephant
it's
trunk.
It's proportionate, so it's really awkward. Yeah.
If the Green Man is the last of his species, I mean, thank God for masturbation, right?
Oh my god.
What? He's alone for thousands of years.
Yeah. Or maybe he only wears clothes because
maybe that's how he fertilizes the garden.
Stop that. That is too far. No, you found the line and you crossed it. You crossed it.
I don't know, they're green. He's just naked as hell.
Oh, anyways.
I bet his seed.
Stop right there.
It's great fertilizer.
Stop right there. That's enough. That's enough out of you. So the Green Man is like, wait a second, Moiraine, you've already been here.
Yeah, he's shocked. This thing about how you can only see him once.
It's really fascinating.
And she was like, I just needed you.
Yeah, the need was great.
And the need is so great. Come here, big boy.
He also said something. Oh, he says so he turns to Perrin. He says, well, he recognizes he's a wolf brother, which is very cool. He knows what's up. And then
Alan says his seed is close to the taint.
Stop it right now. He says to Rand, strange clothes.
Wait, maybe. Oh my god, Moiraine's seen him before. And we know Moiraine can be 40 feet tall. Maybe the last time Moiraine was with the Green Man, it wasn't about Moiraine's need, it was about the Green Man's need.
And so this time, because it's Moiraine's need, she can get there.
And that's the loophole in the you can only see him once thing, is that the first time she was there, It wasn't about her need.
Stop.
It was about his needs.
Oh my god, no.
I think we solved the Wheel of Time. I think we cracked it.
I'm so upset right now. We're going back to the book. He says, strange clothes you wear, child of the dragon. Has the wheel turned so far? Did the people of the dragon return to the first covenant? But you wear a sword, that is neither now nor then. And Rand's like, dude, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, the Green Man is straight up like, oh, hey, it's the dragon.
Yeah.
This may be the funniest loony theory I've ever heard. I don't think it's that loony, Dusty Wheel. I don't.
I am so upset.
How did Moiraine get to go twice?
I am so upset right now.
If you can only come once, then how did she come again? The Green Man. He's been
alive a long time. He knows how to make it happen, you know? He knows things. Tithanisk, do not put the challenge out there because Nerdy will do anything.
The problem is I think Amazon might watch this and be like, ooh, this would get us views. We're going to steal some of these ideas.
Anyways, I want to know what you think the first covenant is. Do you think the first covenant is the way of the leaf?
What? Read it again.
He says, do the people of the dragon return to the first covenant, but you wear a sword? That is neither now nor then.
Do the people of the dragon?
What? Yeah, he asks, do the people of the dragon return to the first covenant?
Okay, so a covenant is...
So the people of the dragon, I think, is like Aiel. Do they return? Because do you think that the Aiel used to be the way of the leaf and then went full circle to violence and then came... And he's thinking that they came back around to their roots, which was no violence. And, like, perhaps the Aiel and the people of the leaf, like, break away from one another into different factions. Because he says you wear a sword, so that doesn't make any sense.
But the covenant, a covenant isn't like a group of people, right? Like the covenant is the like agreement.
A covenant could be like a belief system, right?
But the first covenant would be like the
first covenant is probably like the first thing after the breaking of the world. So I wonder if the first covenant is like our experience of the breaking has been so violent.
Oh, something happened in chat.
Don't spoil, please,
to
y'all.
everyone in chat who is just writing random shit to move the spoiler away from us, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're the real MVPs.
We do really appreciate that. We are theorizing. Please do not answer these questions.
Even if we ask them, don't answer us.
Yes, we're not actually asking.
The first covenant, wow, okay, the people of the dragon being the Aiel. I thought the people of the dragon would, in this instance, mean... I read it as the people who come with the dragon to the first covenant being the eye of the world. Because the first covenant to me is a covenant is a moment of bonding in a group, right? So like the covenant is the eye of the world because the first covenant being the eye of the world, meaning the place where Sidon and Sidar came together to create the eye of the world would be the first covenant. Yeah. In my reading, I might be wrong. And then the people of the dragon are the dragon, and he is always surrounded by... The dragon, by being Ta'veren, is always surrounded by a posse, right? Lews Therin had the 100 companions. I feel like the dragon always comes with a team. And by being Ta'veren, the thread of the dragon is always pulling threads towards him, and the threads on the pattern of the wheel that are pulled towards the dragon would be called the people of the dragon because they're the threads that are weaved through the wheel together.
Okay. I mean,
that's my reading of it, but I obviously could be wrong.
Well, because I just but you wear a sword stood out to me, and the information that we know so far is that. Like the way of the people of the way of the leaf, they're looking for the first song, or they're looking for like a song, and so I just
wait. What about the way of the sword?
No, but you wear a sword.
Yeah, because Lews Therin didn't have a sword.
Sure, but I mean.
No, but he's saying like you're the dragon. Oh, hey, it's you. But hey, last time I saw you, you didn't have a sword on. Because Lews Therin didn't need a sword. He wielded the one power, and he ends up wielding the sword of light, which is created by the one power, but he doesn't have a sword on him. No, he's saying like, oh, you're the dragon. Last time I saw you, you didn't have that sword. That's new. That's a new addition to your being.
Okay, I don't know if that's it.
But you wear a sword to me just is him literally pointing out the fact that like the Lews Therin didn't have one, but you do, and that is a difference between the two of you.
No, I don't think that's it. Personally, I think
Lews Therin was a blade master, so I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah, I was like, that seems like a very poignant line for something that doesn't really matter. I don't know. I think that it has something to do.
But it just reminds me of like Loial like the way that Loial responded to the image of him as an Aiel. I don't think that like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think that him wearing a sword is not like
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. Otherwise, I don't think this line would be here. It wouldn't matter, right? I think that everything that the Green Man does and says is like very important because the Green Man has been around for so long. And so, yeah, because then he's like confused. He's like, wait, my memories are torn. And then he's like, oh no, it's gone. It's like it's like a moment of like remembering that's then that his mind is so vast. But then what would it mean? I think it has...
Because he's the reincarnation of someone who has a sword in the prologue. He kills his family with a sword.
But he's like the many reincarnations of... like he.
No, Lews Therin is the last one. The one that the Green Man knew is Lews Therin.
And what about the dragons before that?
The Green Man wasn't around for those. The Green Man's like 3,000 years old, right?
No, he was there. He was present when they created the pool. Right. That doesn't mean that that's when he was created. He was just there, and so he was tasked with guarding it because he was the one who was there.
I didn't think that the Green Man was like immortal because I thought that like the Green Man was of a species that used to be more plethora.
Probably. There were probably others of him, but I think
because they say that he's
like,
the last of his kind.
But I think he is like a reference kind of to like Tom Bombadil, who is just like a timeless being. He might be the only of his kind, but he might also, there might be more of them. I don't know. I don't
know how to read into it without more information, I guess.
Well, that's the thing is I wanted to bring it up because it seems like this part is very like prophesizing of like future things. And so I wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
See, what's interesting is it doesn't feel like prophesizing future events to me. It feels like prophesizing past, like it feels like filling us in on what the last time that Lews Therin was here.
Yeah. Like there's I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to unpack in this very small section of text here. Yeah. Because then he forgets about it, right? He can't elaborate on it, which is why I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna find out later. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So we get that, and I did just want to Just chat, see what your thoughts were on it.
Oh, kid, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Love that you love this speculation. Donkey says there's only one dragon and one dragon reborn. Like, yes, Lews Therin was the first one to have the mantle of dragon.
But don't people's souls get reincarnated over time? But
he is the hero of light, which the dragon is Lews Therin's nickname as the hero of light, but Lews Therin is not the first reincarnation of...
Yeah,
that's my understanding.
Isn't the first dragon. There's been
No, he's the first dragon.
Really? I thought...
Yeah, so the dragon is like a new nickname that is given to that soul in Lews Therin's timeline.
Okay, but that soul...
But the soul is older than that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't... Okay, gotcha. Anyways, he says... That's why
in the episode... That's why everyone was like weirded out by the fact that Lews Therin in the show is called the Dragon Reborn in the episode 8 Cold Open.
Right.
Because... Technically, he was the dragon in the previous turning of the wheel, but in the turning of the wheel before that, that soul happened, and the fight between that soul and the Dark One happened, but he wasn't called the dragon in that turning of the wheel. Okay. The dragon is a new nickname. He probably has had countless nicknames going back through the turnings of the wheel, right?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that part was a little bit lost on me. Yeah. But we get to the eye. We get to the eye of the world, which is literally a pool shaped like an eye.
Can we like... Can we like skip ahead to where we add a sex scene to the book?
You wanna? Okay, all right. Smut corner.
This is our smut corner, y'all. I think that Rand and Egwene should have had like a hot tub sexy time moment in the Eye of the World. It's a hot tub. I think they should have skinny dipped a little bit as a group, and then everyone should have given them some space. And then Rand and Egwene, much like the Moaning Myrtle Harry Potter bathtub scene from Goblet of Fire, I think that they should have had a little bit of hot tub time machine fun. In the Eye of the World. And I think it's disappointing that no one skinny dipped in the Eye of the World.
Inside the pool of magic.
Where else would you have like the craziest hot tub sex of your life than in a never-ending pool of magic? That sounds incredible.
Wow, you are on a roll today.
Where would there be a better place to lose your virginity than in a pool of pure magic? Literally. Where is a better place to lose your virginity?
You know what?
hey, Egwene, where'd you lose your virginity? And she's like, oh, I was in a pool of pure magic at the Eye of the World. That sounds incredible.
You don't have a better story than that.
Do we be...
Thank you so much. For the super chat. Holy
I hope you can see through the whole series and would love to see your channel growing. With that said, please read up on Robert Jordan's opinion on erotic fanfiction.
Would Robert Jordan be ashamed of us? Probably.
Oh, no.
You know what? Probably. It's fine.
I want to be clear. This isn't fan fiction. This is just us trying to give this podcast a fun.
Hey, we like to make this fun for everybody.
Yeah.
Also, 69. Nice.
Aren't you afraid of getting your fired?
Of getting what fired?
I'm not gonna be fired, y'all. I own the channel.
Oh no. I think when the stone drops into the pool, it gets like disintegrated. So like, I don't even know if they could even touch it.
You know what? I take it back.
You take it back. No, you've said it. You've put it out there into the universe.
Yeah, but that was when I thought it would be like a steamy, hot, like fun time. I thought it was going to be like Geralt and Yennefer in the hot tub. You know what I mean? And instead it's Gollum chasing the ring down into the fires of Mount Doom. Except Mount Doom in this one has an H in it, so that it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not Mount
Doom.
It's the mountains of Doom instead of Mount Doom.
The mountains of Doom.
Yeah, very, very nice.
I really wish they'd put that in the show, just so that you could have had all of the the actors have to say Doom.
Doom. Sorry, there's a weird pop-up here. Oh. Sorry, we just got a random pop-up from YouTube.
Oh, apparently our stream is not very smooth.
Okay, well, sorry about that, guys. I mean...
Is stream all right for y'all?
Huh. That's weird. I don't... there's nothing we can do about that. We have the best internet we could possibly have here, so...
Weird.
Anyways, it's fine.
But it seems like it's fine.
Yeah, it looks like it's fine. Sorry about that, y'all. If it pops in and out, that is what it is.
Is Immaculate Conception possible in pure magic?
No, it's like it's like the hot... Oh God, no! I don't want to. That's we're not gonna go there. So Smut Corner, back to Smut Corner. So that's where you would add a sex scene.
No, not if it's gonna burn my bits.
Well,
off.
You already said it, so it's out there.
Rand deserves to have his bits intact. Okay.
Perry Wolf, thank you for the super chat. Should have kept all the sex stuff in the show. That was cut out for nerdy. I mean, we would have.
All right, moving on. So
I actually don't know where I would have put one. I'm trying to think because there's not very many opportunities. Like there's like
I love the idea of Moiraine and the Green Man. Moiraine like being like, everyone go in the eye of the world for a little bit. The Green Man and I need to talk.
No.
And then she gets like 40 feet tall and like
no. No.
Although I think we know Moiraine is obviously in love with Swan, right? Like, I don't want to take away from that relationship. It seems like a good relationship.
We know from the show. Yeah. I actually don't know. You know what? I'm going to do my Smut Corner at the end, and I'm going to think about
says Rand needs to get his own taint into Sidon to counter the Dark One's taint. The Battle of the Taints. That's actually going to be the next book in the Wheel of Time. After the Memory of Light is the Battle of the Taints. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they get to the outer
Is that a cucumber in your foliage, or are you just happy to see me? Claude Complex. Claude Complex wins. You win nothing, but you win.
You win.
All right, where are we at?
They get to the pool. They drop the stone in, and they're like, oh, it dissolves.
Matt kicks a stone in. He's like,
Matt, just stop. So we find out that it is literally a pool of magic, that it was created by both sides of the one power working together, which is so cool. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know what? We have a second. Let's go outside and take a breather. Because everyone's feeling super duper antsy. Everyone's very uncomfortable by what's going on. They get outside, and two cloaked figures walk over.
Baphomet and Agenor. Mm-hmm. Not in the show.
But horrifying. Mm-hmm. The gauntness, and then the weird laughing leathery mask visual thing.
Hey, don't kink shame.
I'm not kink shaming.
Don't kink shame Baphomet.
He can do what he wants. I'm saying for me it's terrifying. I would not come near that with a 50-foot pole.
This feels like kink shaming. it just that's the vibe I'm getting from this, and I just that's not the vibe of our community. We're a very open.
I'm not shaming them.
I get what you're saying.
I do not find it spicy.
I love so.
Oh God, yeah.
We keep talking about differences of show and books. I love that what happens here is a very direct representation of the power of the Dark One and the power of the Dark One's like lieutenants and how scared Moiraine is in this moment. Like the shit truly hits the fan here.
Yeah, Forsaken are scary.
I mean, the Green Man, I'm really, like, I wish we could have gotten this, right? Because, like, this battle is so cool. The Green Man fighting Baphomet and taking out Baphomet is fascinating, and how he succumbs to his wounds and becomes a tree is, like, really freaking cool. It reminded me very much of in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, when you save the Great Deku Tree, but it dies in you saving it, and it gets regrown as the baby Great Deku Tree. It's fantastic. And I got big Kokiri Village vibes from all of the Green Man's place.
That's cool.
And so Baphomet is crazy, right? Like just going at it. It's awesome. And then Agenor messes up Moiraine. He describes everyone flees, right? And you just hear Moiraine screaming, which is
oh my God,
horrifying.
Oh my God, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we get to Baby Groot. I am Groot. I've been playing the Guardians of the Galaxy, the new game on stream. I'm going to be playing it later today. If you want to come over to twitch.tv/nerdynightly, little plug. And Groot is, I love Groot so much. But we get to Rand on a cliffside, and Agenor is behind him, and we get basically the climax of this book.
Yeah.
And it's so rad.
It's so different. Like, I don't even know where to...
To start, we should go back and say that the men of Faldara have marched off to war.
Yep.
And they're going to Tarwin's Gate with the men of a bunch of other cities. Tarwin's Gate is not at Faldara. This is wildly different. And Agamar is leading his men to all of their deaths, right? Because they all die in that scene. It's very important that they all die. Remember in the books when they all die in that scene, and then they adapted that to the show where they all die in that scene and they're all dead? Anyway, so Rand taps into the power. Rand starts to see cords that are tying Agenor and himself to different places. Yeah. And he wields a sword of pure light to snap the cords, which...
Wait, that's in the next part.
But this is all happening at the same time, right?
Oh, I thought... No, Agamar, he's standing there with Agamar, and one of the tendrils reaches out. Agenor, sorry. Yeah. One of the tendrils reaches out and touches him, and then they are suddenly locked in this death battle to gain control. The Sword of Light is later on with the Dark One, potentially.
No, because doesn't he cut Agenor's cord?
Not Agenor's, no. I thought he did that with the Dark One.
Oh, okay, maybe I have it wrong. But he gets teleported to Tarwin's Gap and becomes pure lightning and destruction, and he kills all the frickin' Trollocs. Yeah. And the men see him.
Casual.
Which is adapted into the women kill themselves to stop the Trollocs from touching Faldara after the men are all dead, which is just such an adaptation.
We'll talk about that next week in depth.
Yeah, we're going to really get into how that is anyone who claims that it's wokeness that has ruined the TV show, I'm it's not as woke as you think.
No, it's not.
And it's just crazy. I don't even know how to describe what happens, but Agenor kills himself. Oh.
Yeah. He does not cut the cord of Agenor.
He disintegrates Agenor when he takes control of the eye. I was saying that this reminded me of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, when Quirrell touches Harry and then Quirrell just dies. Yeah. Because of the power that Harry doesn't quite understand. Yeah. Yeah,
because he says mine. Because Agenor is we basically learn, we learn throughout a lot of this section, but I think a little bit last time as well. We learn that the Dark One can get to Rand and his friends even if they're dead. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether or not they're alive or dead. In fact, it is easier for the Dark One to take hold of them while they're dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And so Agenor is like, I'm not going to share power with you.
Yeah,
and the Dark One says later that he always knew it would be his greed.
We got the interesting little tidbit that Agenor is Agenor lays out the power rankings. Anime people love to do power rankings of anime characters. And Agenor is clearly a little weeb because he's like, let's power rank the Dark One. Dark One's number 1.
Agenor's a weeb.
Ishamael and Luce Theron were like tied for second, but I'm right there. I'm number 3, baby. I'm right there.
I'm so close. Oh my god. Agenor's a weeb confirmed.
But I love this. We get another reference to Ishamael, who is like the number 2.
Yeah.
Who I think is who's in the show.
I think so as well.
I think that's Ishamael in episode 8.
Yeah.
And not the actual Dark One, even though it comes across like the Dark One. I'm very confused by that.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah, but no, so Agenor is just saying like mine, like no, like this is mine, right?
Yeah, he wants
trying
the power.
he is trying to steal the power, and so he gets consumed and burned up.
Robert Jordan made a canon list of power rankings. So Robert Jordan, also canonically a weeb.
Amazing. Yeah. I love that for Robert Jordan. I love
Wheel
that
of Time is kind of anime. Interesting.
Yeah, so he has a struggle with Agenor, then he is kind of like transported to the battle with the people of Kaldar.
All kind
just annihilates them, and when we were both reading this, in the moment we were reading it, we thought it was some kind of flashback.
I didn't. You did.
I thought you said yesterday that you did.
No, I thought like for a second it was
That's
a flashback.
What I mean.
Yeah, but
while we were reading it, we were like, oh, this seems like it's like a flashback, maybe to a different like war or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right, and then we realized later on, obviously,
I thought it was a flashback to Luce Theron's final desperate fight.
Yeah. I thought it was a flashback. It's not a flashback. Very cool how they tied it in with.
But
the
it's
people
clearly
of Kaldara.
Tarwin's Gap.
Yeah, 100%. And then the Dark One is there.
Yeah.
I think it's the Dark One.
This time it is the Dark One in the dream.
Yeah.
Because they dream walk again. Mm-hmm. And then he denies the Dark One in the dream world again. Mm-hmm. And this is where he cuts the cord with the Sword of Light.
Yes.
Yeah, so the sword that's not a sword.
The sword that's not a sword, exactly.
Right? From the prophecy. The sword that's not a sword cuts the cord, which releases the Dark One, I think. And so I think the Dark One might be out now.
No.
I think cutting the cord might...
I think that...
Cutting the cord is the breaking of the seal that they find broken. Oh my god.
I think
so. The cutting of the cord breaks one seal of the 7?
Yeah, I think...
Oh, shit.
See, here's the thing. I don't think the Dark One can be defeated while he is being contained, and I think that Rand actually inadvertently might have started setting him free so that he can eventually be defeated. I don't think he can, in this like place that he exists right now, I don't think he can be defeated. And so I think that was the like breaking of the seal, but it weakened the Dark One for a few moments. And I mean moments, I mean like maybe like weeks or even months. I feel like it severely weakens him, but it's like Voldemort, right? Who loses a Horcrux and then is in this very weakened state until he can get to his next like Horcrux and like piece his soul back together.
Oh shit.
I definitely think J.K. Rowling took a little bit of that. There's this like text that says, "It is not here. I will take no part. Only the chosen one can do what must be done if he will. Not here." Right? There's like this
not here.
All caps.
Also, we get to see his mom.
Yes,
but who's not his mom. Yes. We know as show watchers that's not his mom.
Yes, he thinks is his mom, the person who raised him.
What's interesting is that the Dark One doesn't prod at him about that. Because the Dark One knows. I felt like the Dark One, it would have been a good tactic for the Dark One to like pierce that like insecurity of Rand's.
No, because not in this moment, because the Dark One is using his love and compassion for this person he believes to be his mother. It doesn't actually behoove him to sow doubt in this moment. It behooves him to manipulate him, being like, look, I can torture your mom all I want unless you bow down to me, right? Which is like super horrifying. Yeah. And so, the light wills it, and Yeah. So he, like, the Balsamon, like, Rand is able to...
Hawking is saying Ishamael is in the prologue. So we have actually seen Ishamael in the book.
Yes,
yeah, talking to others there. That's true.
Prologue.
I went back and read the prologue because everyone was like, you need to reread the prologue. And I did, and you are right.
Yeah, we thought it was the Dark One.
Because when I was reading it, I didn't know that Ishamael wasn't the Dark One. Because the Dark One has so many names that I just thought it was,
Yeah, I just thought it was another name for him. But, yeah, Rand is, like, able to, like, channel his void thingy. He's like, chill. He's like, yeah, no, I'm good. I deny you.
He finds the light flickering in the darkness, and he goes to his void, where I go whenever my wife asks me to do something.
Yeah, and he notices this, like, pulsing...
She's totally ignored me.
I love you.
I love you too.
He notices the pulsing cord, and he has this sword that then he severs with it, which is the seal break. Okay. Which I think, I think is what's happening here.
And then he like wakes up, and Agonor's body's there, and he's like, I killed somebody.
He's like in somebody's greasy ashes.
Yeah. Oh, it's the description of that's so awful. Yeah. And so he runs back to the Eye. And Moiraine is there with Egwene and Nynaeve, and they now know that he's the Dragon Reborn, I guess, or that he can channel. Actually, they don't know that he's a Dragon Reborn. They just know that he can channel.
Yeah.
I don't think Moiraine and Lan know that he's a Dragon Reborn. I don't think that Nynaeve and Egwene know that he's a Dragon Reborn. I think they just know that he's a channeler.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Agonor, he died. It was so weird. I don't know what happened. So
weird. He just died.
So weird, y'all. So Agonor just, I don't know. He like fell off a cliff. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah. Yeah. That. Well done, Rand.
Matt and Perrin come out, and they got some treasures. They got a banner with a image on it, and I loved this so much. You and I talked about this last night. I love the moment with the banner so much in Robert Jordan's writing because he describes a dragon, and Rand is like, "The fuck is that?"
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, it looks kind of like a lizard, scaly thing with the claws. That's cool."
And I love the concept of the word dragon being so removed from what we understand what a dragon to be that he can't even piece a dragon to the description of a dragon.
Yeah.
Vincent Mize is yelling, "Loot!" This is the D&D moment where it's like they've beaten the boss.
Yeah.
They did it through like a really lucky dice roll. Like Rand should have lost, but he got a nat 20, and now they get to loot.
Yeah, he cast his wish spell, and it worked.
Yeah, and so I really loved them not knowing what the dragon was, but that like it's like, oh, that's what a dragon is, and they're like, oh, cool, chill, great.
Yeah. I love that moment.
We get the seal, which is broken.
Which is made out of literally unbreakable material.
Yes, and honestly, like this version of it is really fun. I wish they had brought up the seal of the Dark One's prison in the show, or maybe they didn't. I just don't remember the line. But.
Well, we were given this like material that was broken.
Yeah, but they didn't specifically say that one of the 7 seals on the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
And we get the Horn of Valer, or Valir, or Valere. The Horn of Valere.
You have to say it like that every time.
The Horn of Valere. And it's not just under the chair.
No, it's not under a chair in Faldara.
Why change that? Because I was telling you this last night. The horn being under the throne kind of bugs me.
Yeah.
Because everybody's looking for this horn.
And they have been every couple hundred years. There's a hunt for this thing.
People knew where it was. There's like a number. There are enough people at Faldara who know where the horn is that one character can turn to another character and go, do the thing that you need to do. Yeah. And he immediately is like, oh yeah, the horn. I got to go get the horn out from under the chair. I just don't understand. This is a change that I'm genuinely like
confused.
Because you kind of ruined how mythic the horn is by having people know where it was the whole time.
Yeah, we have talked about changes that the show has made, and we've been able to like ostensibly reason out, okay, I can understand why they did that, right? This one, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. It makes
Because Moiraine could have brought the horn back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like they didn't go to the Eye of the World in the show.
Yeah, it makes the horn so much less effective, and it's like people have been looking for this thing forever.
Dusty Wheel says it's hard to explain until you keep reading.
Okay, fair enough.
On the other side of it,
They could have brought the horn back from the eye.
And I think that it would work if the show had made the horn seem like anything. The book talks about the horn the whole time. You hear about the horn. There's people going to Ilion to hunt the horn. There's the horn.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching the show, and they're like, "Oh, there's a horn," and I was like, "Okay, what is it?" You've never mentioned the mythology of it is so unimportant to the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unimportant. And you know it's unimportant because they never bring it up.
Yeah.
Ever. Tom Maryland never tells the story of the horn. Like, there's so many ways the show could have made it just a thing that shows up that you're like, that's that thing that we heard about. That's the horn. As opposed to, like, MacGuffin. And I was like, oh, God, like, the worst kind of MacGuffin is one that you introduce as a MacGuffin. It's the worst kind of MacGuffin in every storytelling. If you just are like, this is going to be important later, here it is. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, cool. And look, like there was ample opportunity for them to take for the horn to. I mean, I guess Padden Fane gets it at the end of the show, so there is that to deal with. But the worst part of it is like they had this thing that breaks in the show. The horn could have been there, and they could have taken it from the Eye of the World. Like they could have taken it from. I guess they don't.
The show doesn't show Moiraine and Lan making it back, so maybe they didn't. I just think, like, you have the same reveal if the horn... Oh, wait, no, you have to have the horn there already. Because Padden Fane has to steal the horn now.
Why now?
Because the men of Faldara are all dead. They can't send anyone with the horn to take it to Ilion. And so, because... Oh, it's... You know what it is? Thank you for that super chat, Daro.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
I can explain why they changed where the horn was. They wanted to kill off all of the men of Faldara because they thought that it would be epic. Right. Not realizing they didn't have the budget to make it look good.
Yeah.
And so the men of Faldara's dying meant that there's no one to take the horn to Ilion, where Padden Fane will steal it from them later, or whoever steals it on the road to Ilion.
Yeah.
And so in order to have the horn get stolen by the Dark One now, without the horn having to stay in the hands of our heroes, because it clearly gets stolen from someone else, they had to change where the horn was, because when Moiraine and Lan get back to Faldara, everybody's already dead. And so it's the change. I think it's the change of what happens at Tarwin's Gap that changes what happens with the horn.
Right. They wanted to have a battle scene. Yeah. Because
a battle scene.
Because
they wanted to have an off-screen battle sequence.
Yeah. Because we know we get back to Faldara and everyone's fine and dandy and alive. I mean, for the most part, obviously. But like, you know, there's I don't know.
It's just disappointing. The horn is such a cool...
The horn was poorly handled.
Because when they open the box in the book, and hundreds of thousands of people are looking for this horn, right? Yeah. Hundreds are gathering in Ilion for this horn. Yeah. It's mythic. It's huge. When they open the box and it is the horn, it's like, oh my God, they found the horn.
Yeah.
They found it. It's here.
Yeah.
In the show, it's... Is that a horn? Why is there a horn?
Under this chair.
I understand that for people who are book readers watching the show, it's very exciting, but the majority of people who watch the show probably haven't read the book just because of how TV numbers versus book numbers work, right? And opening the box and just it being a horn, and I was there. I was sitting next to you going, oh, is that a horn? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Kid, thank you so much for
from today's reading. There's a lot of story to fit into 60-minute finale. They ran out of episodes. I think they wanted to do a battle, but COVID. Oh, I understand why. I totally get that.
Yeah,
I totally get that.
Yeah, 100%.
Just wanted to thank you for holding the book club. There's so much to discuss, but no one wants to spoil anything for you. It's still fun watching you sort this out for yourselves. People want to spoil us. Plenty.
Thank you, Adam, so much for this.
But thank you, Adam, so much. People try and spoil us, but we got mods, and we got not just mods. We got good mods. Chat. We got a good community.
We got a shout out.
We got
our
narcs.
Shout out our mods. Thank you for doing amazing things. We adore each of you, and thank you for
Monkey, Shalish, and Dakuna. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, and thank you everyone who's become a Narg of the Nerd Table, and everyone who's here, trying to help it remain spoiler free. We appreciate the heck out of you guys.
Sir Blaze says 90 million people have read the books. I retract what I said about. I retract. Sir Blaze, you're correct. I would like to print a retraction in tomorrow's paper. That is a lot of books sold. Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what though? Considering the quality of the writing, that's not enough people.
Everyone, Wheel of Time should be mandatory reading in school. Why do I have to read
Catcher in the Rye?
Why do I need to read Lord of the Flies for the third time?
Lord of the Flies is well written.
3 times. I
Catcher in the Rye is trash.
In school. Okay, I'm just saying.
Maybe we should take some of the books that are written by old racist white dudes whose writing we shouldn't hold up, and we should give that time to good books. Written, and maybe, maybe English classes should teach a book written by a person of color. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation to have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whew,
yeah.
Oh,
anyways.
Yes, I do. I hate Catcher in the Rye. I think it is...
Didn't read it.
I think you could keep a lot of homes warm if we just burned all the copies of Catcher in the Rye, and it would be a better use of paper.
Like, we could save a lot of toilet paper if we just wiped our asses.
That is not a comfortable paper to rub on your butthole.
Have you tried?
I will never. Can you imagine the paper cuts you would get from wiping your ass with Catcher in the Rye? No. I'm gonna just not. I'm gonna just not. 90 million books sold of the whole series does not mean 90 million book readers. Well, you don't know that though, right? Because like a library copy can be read by 100,000 people.
Yeah, it's tough, right? The fact that libraries exist make those numbers difficult to know. But yes, that was a slight dig at Lovecraft. Here's the thing: Lovecraft created a lot of really cool stuff, but Lovecraft was intensely racist. And as someone who does not jive with that, that was a weird way to say that. I think that we should do a better job of. If you're going to read Lovecraft, but also acknowledge that he was a deeply, deeply wrong man. And it's important that we acknowledge that, right? It is important. Oh, yeah. And I see it in the backlash to the casting on the show. Like, people don't want black people to be in the Wheel of Time, and they totally fit, right? I'm like, why? Literally, like, them having paler skin has absolutely nothing to do with the incredible story that is being told here. So,
and I'm gonna be this might be controversial. I don't know how many people in our chat are upset about the racism behind the show, but just know that we don't agree with you here. We are very pro the casting. I love all of the casting of the show.
Oh my god! First of all, the cast is so hot. Second of all, they're all insanely talented.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care what really the actor looks like as much as I do what they bring to the table in terms of their chops, and like they crushed it.
But also, I want to say that 3,000 years from now, there won't be any white people.
Surprise!
That's not how genetics work. White is not going to be a dominant gene moving forward. And that's...
probably for the best. I sunburn so easily.
Well, but there's not going to be, like... if humanity survives 3,000 years into the future, because of how multicultural we are right now... all of our races are going to be different, and like the racial dynamics of a world 3,000 years from now are going to be so wildly different from the racial dynamics of our humanity right now that to say that the Wheel of Time people should be racially one real world race is absurd.
There's the door.
There's no existence 3,000 years from now where our current racial dynamics matter. So Wheel of Time shouldn't be built on that, and it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Like, can you imagine...
the only characters who should be white in the Wheel of Time are the Aiel. That's it.
Because they're gingers. Right.
And because they cover themselves in shrouds in the desert because of their pale skin. That is the only...
fair. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that is the only one that matters.
Yeah. Everybody else...
it's 3,000 years in the future. Who gives a flying fuck?
Probably more than 3,000. Anyways, I cannot imagine Land
and we dropped 30 viewers with me saying that. Bye.
No, it's been going up and down, babe.
We've been pretty consistently at 700, and we dropped 30 viewers when I said that.
We're going to talk later, but we're back up at 711. Just don't, it goes up and down. Don't.
I'm assuming, but I'm assuming there are people who left. And if there's no one who left, then we've cultivated the right community for the people that we want to surround ourselves with.
Absolutely.
And if there are people who left, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. We are very pro every culture and every race being presented in every piece of media.
Could you imagine Lan being portrayed by anybody else?
No, Daniel Henney nails it.
Perfection. Yeah. Like, fuck it, yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that I want everyone to be very clear about where we stand. And our stance is that the casting of the show is was really well done. And I love, I'm going to miss Barney Harris. I think that his Matt was he nailed the portrayal. Yeah. Having read book Matt, Barney Harris crushed it.
Yeah, I wish though we had gotten a little bit more of the playfulness in the show because Matt gets left behind, obviously for reasons. Obviously, we don't get his return to that like playful, jokey Matt that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Which I'm sad. And obviously that's not the show's fault. You know, he got left behind. The actor just...
He left.
There was a thing, and we wish him all the best and hope everything is okay with him. But that is one thing that I was, like, kind of a little bit sad about, is that, like, we missed his, like, return to the Matt closer to, like, the beginning, right?
Yeah, I honestly, like, I just think that Barney Harris, he was great. And I hope that he's well. Whatever is going on with him, I really hope that he's well.
Yeah.
Because I thought his portrayal was really spot on.
Yeah.
The only person who I think's portrayal is hampered in the show is Perrin, and that's just because he doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah, he wasn't given a lot, unfortunately, and you know, they didn't have. I put that to like time and priority, I guess, but
yeah, I just wish they'd given Perrin more of an arc.
Absolutely,
but let's get into the end of the book.
Yeah, we head back to Faldara,
and this is something that the show doesn't do that I wish they had, was that the Blight is fundamentally changed by the victory at the Eye of the World.
The Blight.
When they're coming back to Faldara through the Blight, the Blight is fundamentally different. It's still there.
It's still bad, which is important.
But it is clear that a victory has been won by the light, and that is. Matt Rand is of the impression that it's over. He won. He did.
And like spring is there, and like that's
and the whole world has changed.
Yeah,
literally the whole world has changed. Because I was like, how the hell did the normal people survive 14 books of this like bleak winter?
No spring. It's
because they finally got spring in. Yeah. This is the stuff that like
it's so juicy.
It's so, but it also I like giving them a victory. The show portrays it as this huge loss.
Everything at
the end of the show is bleak. There's no light at the end of the season. And the book, there's this big light. There's a big fight ahead. There's a lot that needs to be done, but there's a big light too.
Yes.
There are crops now. And granted, the show never, and part of it is the show never allowed us to like feel like the world was.
Well, the winter, you know, they talk about that the winter had been particularly long and hard,
But the book, everywhere they go, people are suffering.
Yes.
Tarvalon does not feel like anyone is suffering.
Yeah, you can't like buy fresh vegetables. You know, the food that they're eating is all like, right? And it affects everywhere that they travel throughout this first book. And
Typhon says, well, they didn't make the Blight dangerous when they went there, so they can't make it not dangerous when they come back. Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful, like, giving hope in moments like these, especially when the stakes are so high, I think is super important to keep people going throughout.
Ben Flint, thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you.
That's so kind of you. I also love, like, the men of Faldara come back from victory. And the end of the book is a celebration. It's end of A New Hope, right? The Death Star has been destroyed, but the Empire is not gone.
Yeah.
And there is a bright future potentially for the rebellion, but there's a big fight coming.
Yeah.
And I really like the book version of this. I like that Agomar is, it's celebratory, and they have the horn, and the book ends with this celebration up until the point where Rand is like high on life, and then Moiraine says, yes, the first battle, and Rand goes, I didn't. And
the first battle.
It's like she like put one of those little metal stoppers on the candle, and the candle goes out instantly for Rand. And Rand's whole life changes in that moment.
Yeah.
His whole worldview changes in one realization. And that's the moment where he realizes, I can't go with you. I can't go back with you.
Yep.
I have to go do my own thing. And he says that to Egwene. Like, he gets to say that to the characters that matter to him, and they accept it.
Yeah.
And Egwene's like, are you like, what? And he's like, no, I have to do this. And like the people he cares about accept his choice. And it's not just Moiraine at the Eye, you know what I mean? Like, it's like everyone is, not everyone, because Perrin and Matt have no idea what's going on with him, right? But like,
they're like, wait, what?
The people who matter here accept his choice. And that is so powerful. And such a like, the characters around him show him so much respect in doing that. And I love those final moments so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful end to the book because it's also sad. But there's a lot to celebrate there. I think that when things are always dark and gritty and hard and difficult, that it becomes a slog to read. I think having these moments are super important, super duper important for carrying a series forward.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And
we didn't talk about Loial singing.
Oh my god.
First of all, Loial is not stabbed. Loial can't be dead, right?
Loial cannot.
Padan Fang stabbed him, but he can't be dead. He obviously is going to have to be in the rest.
Yeah.
And then but Loial sings the tree song.
Yeah.
Oh my god, beautiful moment. That was the most emotional I got reading the end of the book.
Yeah, for me the two moments that was when the Green Man died, I was like, oh darn. But the song and Hopper. Those are the two things where I'm like,
Hopper got me.
Yeah, Hopper got me. But this song was so cool. Like, it was just, and I was trying to imagine it. And it was like, I couldn't, it was just something that, like, I'll probably never experience, but, like.
Well, and what I love about it is that, wait, Eye of the World came out 32 years ago on our last episode?
Well, yeah.
Our last episode was the 32nd anniversary of these books. Last week. That's wild.
Oopsie.
Like the idea of a song that is so good that you don't recognize the passing of time during the singing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I love that. I can't believe he didn't have like a moment in the show did Loial a little bit dirty, especially at the end there.
Well, yeah, and John Long last name is he was stabbed with a dagger of Shadar Lagoth.
Well, yeah, because we know...
What? Oh, my God. Okay, so in the book, Matt still has the taint of Shadar Lagoth. So they have to get him to Tar Valon in order to get the Shadar Lagoth out of Matt. Mm-hmm. But they don't have Matt anymore because Matt is already at Tar Valon. So what is the rush to get the crew from Faldara to Tar Valon?
To save Loial.
It's that Loial has been stabbed with the taint of Shadar Lagoth. That's what they've done. So because Matt was taken out of the show... They wrote Loial getting stabbed with the Shadar Lagoth dagger to justify the quickness with which the party is going to have to get to Tar Valon at the beginning of next season. They've replaced the taint in Matt with the taint that is going to be put in Loial by that dagger.
Yeah, because we know, like Moiraine is like, don't touch it. No one can... Like, the blade is itself is tainted. You get, like, pricked by it, and basically you're done for. And I wonder how that, like, works. Yeah. I wonder how that works in an Ogier. I wonder if Ogiers, if there's a different...
Because you have to replace the urgency with something.
Yeah.
And you don't have Matt. And but they're saying, Eric is saying if he's cut with that thing, he's dead. No. But a human would be, but Loial isn't human.
That's true.
So Loial might be hardy enough. Mm-hmm. If, like, Perrin was cut with the Shadar Lagoth dagger, dead, right? Because he's human. Well, he's a wolf brother. He might also be hardier than the average person.
Who knows?
But an Ogier might have just enough hardiness to survive
the trip to Tar Valon for the show.
And then you and then you kind of undo the problem of, well, Matt's storyline is what drives the urgency of the next moment.
Yeah. And that's how we can move forward with Matt being left behind. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that is definitely a plausible...
I think it's plausible, right? I think that it leaves open a possibility for them to kind of move the plot to the next thing in the season 2 without Matt being there.
Yeah. Glenn, thank you so much for the super duper chat. I agree.
Hopper's death is what made the White Cloaks land on your permanent shit list?
It's like the White Cloaks to me are like... oh god, and now I've forgotten the name in Skyrim. The elves, the high elves, the name of the you see them walking around and you kill them because they always have a prisoner. I played this game all the time. The White Cloaks to me are basically like, from Skyrim, the Thalmor. Thank you, the Thalmor.
Dusty Wheel is stealing our theory, so I think that we can sue the Dusty Wheel now. I will see you in court.
No,
you can have it.
The Thalmor, yeah. The White Cloaks are the Thalmor. I hate them all.
Oh, in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I missed the Skyrim part, and I was like, what game are you talking about?
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. I think that, like... Because it makes sense to me.
No, that's
to give them motivation to move the.
That is a really good guess. And it will give us an opportunity to learn more about the dagger in the show.
And also, Moiraine can't go with them
because she's not allowed to go to Tarvalon.
Wait, Moiraine can't go to Tarvalon.
No, she's been banished, right?
But I feel like the next book, Moraine's gonna go to Tarvalon, right?
Right.
Wait a second, that's such a huge change. I didn't even think about the whole Moiraine thing. How... Isn't that gonna be the plot of the next book?
I don't know.
What about Moiraine being banished? Argo, thank you for the super chat. You're literally on the same page that we are.
Super chat.
Wait, oh my god. Moiraine literally can't... What are they gonna do?
I don't know. I think there is going to be a reason Moiraine cannot go to Tarvalon in the next book. She is like needed elsewhere or something. But I don't know what they do in the show then, unless she like sends them on their way to Tarvalon because they've already been there. So
well, they have to go to Tarvalon.
They have to
because Matt has to be healed.
Oh, you're talking about the book now.
The book, Matt has to be healed. They have to go to Tarvalon or else Matt will be lost.
Yes. Moiraine does not need to be there all the...
But more... Oh my god.
God.
But if Moiraine isn't there, what if they try to like gentle Matt? Although Matt can't channel, so I guess gentling would...
But they don't know, right? Remember in the show, and this is obviously the show versus the book, but in the show, they say like, don't tell anyone, like, don't, like if the Red Aja found Matt, they might try to gentle him. Same with like Perrin, because it's things that they don't understand. Like anything that's like bad and like kind of magical is normally the Red Aja just like nip in the bud because they don't give two shits. Like,
but the Red Aja is just still men who can channel. That's their whole thing. Or gentlemen who can channel. But if you gentle a man who can't channel, does anything happen?
Does anything happen?
Like if you were to gentle someone who doesn't have the connection to the one power, they've never felt a connection to one power, so they wouldn't get depressed about losing their connection. Unless it's like the Force where it like lives in all of us, but like our connection to it is just different levels.
We also didn't talk about in the show Moiraine is stilled or shielded and not in the book.
Or stilled. We don't know that she's shielded.
Well, I think
some people are theorizing that she's shielded.
I choose to believe that she's shielded in the show. So maybe something happens on the way to Tarvalon.
Maybe she can go back to Tarvalon in the show because she's shielded already, so she's can't connect to the one power. So because she's cut off from the one power right now, her oath to the one power won't hurt her. So she can go back because like her oath is being her oath is tied to the one power, but the one power is being blocked from her, so she's safe.
But she still can't. Does that mean she can?
There's so much, y'all. There's so much.
Does that mean she can lie then? Now? I don't know.
Oh, can she lie? I don't think so. I think that's her personal oath. I don't think that's like a magic oath. I think that's like
it's magic. She literally can't. That is part of the oaths that they take.
Fakan says, "What do you think about Rand is leaving in the show?" Ooh, Scode. Thank you for that super chat. They banished her as show version can heal dagger. I'm not sure. I don't know what that means. They banished her because the show version can heal the dagger. Well, the dagger doesn't matter at this point, right? Like, it's already healed on the show.
On the show.
Thank you, everyone, for dropping S's about the spoilers.
Yeah, thank you.
Brandon Sanderson apparently said stilled and that he's read season 2 stories. That would be, if Moiraine can never channel again, that's fascinating.
I'll be very upset if that's the case, but that's fine.
Wow. Y'all, the end of this book is about let's talk about the last line. Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
They did it. They reborn the dragon.
Yeah, they did.
It's Rand.
Surprise.
It's the redhead.
It's the redhead. Yeah, and also I find it interesting, Rand is like, yeah, I'm leaving, let's Egwene know. Yeah, prophecy will be fulfilled. The dragon is reborn. Also, I love that Moiraine can literally eavesdrop with her jewel.
Yeah. Very fun.
It's very fun. That's a fun little tidbit. That's it. I mean, it explains she's like a spy technically, right?
Have we talked about what else was with the horn? Yeah, the banner and the
banner
the seal.
And the
we talked about those.
Seal. Yeah.
Loial, I am stabbed. Except he would say it like, dear friends, I would like to point out that recently, as recent as yesterday, it really started 90 years ago with my birth. And I was born, and then I was in the steading for a while. And they're like, Loial, get to it. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, when we got to Faldara, we left. And then we came back, and I ran into Padden Fane. And Padden Fane, he reached into his pocket, and then when in his pocket, he grasped something. I could tell, I saw the way the muscles on his forearm clenched. And when the muscles on his forearm clenched, he clearly grabbed something. And when he retrieved his hand from his pocket, he was holding a knife. I was surprised because the knife was quite ornate for someone who was dressed the way that he was.
Oh my god. Do you remember the moment you were reading the book, you were laying on the couch, and you were like, Moiraine says to be brief, and then you have this huge paragraph from Loial.
You don't have to ban anybody, but just delete the spoilers. I do love that moment where Moiraine says to be brief in Camelin, and Loial, it's a chunk. It's a chunk is so good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Your expectations must be high for the 3 Sanderson books, but don't worry, he delivers. I've never read a Brandon Sanderson book.
Me neither. Yeah.
I need to read Mistborn. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
You should be a show writer, Nerdy. I would love to. You have no idea.
That's like a
if they were like, we need you on season 2, I would show up ready. I love this book, y'all. I know I've only read it once, but like
the first of many times.
I love The Eye of the World. Mm-hmm. I think that this book is. I genuinely think that this is like on the scale of the first time I read Lord of the Rings. And I don't say that lightly, because I read Lord of the Rings. My mom gave me her old copy of Lord of the Rings when I was a kid, and it was like an obsession in my life. Those copies are so yellowed and frayed.
Perry Wolf, thank you so much for the super duper chat. I also think that
these ones are mine, right? Or are these ones yours?
No, those are mine.
These ones are yours. Where's my copies?
I don't actually know.
Did we not bring them here?
There's like one over there, I think.
No, that's the one that that's the signed one.
I don't know. We still have stuff in our basement.
I don't know where my copies are, but like, look at how worn out this Fellowship of the Ring is. Like I love these, and I genuinely think that I think that Eye of the World is remarkable. I think it's remarkable. I love it.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for season 2 of the show. I'm hopeful that without the complications of COVID and where they were at, guys, I really like the first 7 episodes. I know that there's things I complain about and there's things I wish were in the show. Mm-hmm. Those complaints are not me saying the show is bad, because I think the first 7 episodes really are special.
Yeah. Yeah, it was literally like the highlight.
It's just the finale that I don't really like.
Yeah.
And 1 out of 8 episodes ain't bad. And honestly, the finale did enough of the right stuff to get us to a point where season 2 has so much potential.
Yeah.
And there is so much potential in season 2, right? But I love this series already, and I've only read 1 book, and I can't wait. 2 weeks from now, when we're talking about The Great Hunt, I can't wait to be talking about more. I am excited to talk about the full book next week, but like I can't wait to start The Great Hunt, and I can't wait to start The Dragon Reborn, and I love it. I'm really falling in love with this book series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Me and too. Reading with you is so special.
Yeah, and having time for like reading, like and being able to have someone to like talk about the stuff with, because like I'm one of those people where I'll like pick up a book like this and I will just power through it and not take the time to stop and think about what could this sentence mean or what could possibly be happening here. And I've been loving having a section to like analyze every week and sharing it with like you guys who are so excited that we are like on this journey with you and literally falling in love with the series as well. And it's beautiful, and guys, we love doing this so much. So thank you for being here.
Ingleterra said we haven't talked about the story of Malkier. We did touch on it earlier, Ingleterra, about the thematic importance of it, for sure, right? Like about the thematic importance of like how the greed brought down Malkier. Yeah. The greed, the brother's wife's greed brought down Malkier.
Yeah, and how it just relates thematically to the whole idea of this book of like working together.
One thing about the story of Malkier that I find really fascinating is how it resembles it's a retelling of the story of Lews Therin, where Lews Therin took half to the Blight, and if the other half had gone, if his brother had gone with him, together they would have done it. But that Malkier ultimately, part of the reason why Malkier fell is the same reason that the breaking happened.
Exactly.
And I love the like ring theory and how those two events are so similar in that like the Malkier's king's brother is Luce Theron saying, hey, I need to take everybody. And the king is like, no, my side isn't coming. And so only half went, and so they lost.
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be a continuous theme throughout the whole series because it's a really important one, I think, and one that I don't think will ever get old. I just want to say, Sex Monkey, thank you so much for dropping the Discord link in the chat, y'all. If you are enjoying your time here and you want to join our Discord, please feel free. We do have a Nerdy Wordy Book Club section where there is a Wheel of Time chat and then a Wheel of Time spoiler chat. So the non-spoiler is where we've read up to in the books, which is it's like a safe chat that we can enter.
Yeah.
And then we do have a spoiler section where we're not going to go. You guys can theorize, talk about stuff, and not worry about having to spoil for anybody. Argo, thank you so much for
Argo, thank you so much for that super chat. You guys are the reason I read the book. That's so sweet.
We really appreciate that.
Dusty Wheel. We will happily come on the Dusty Wheel anytime. Just reach out. We're happy to come do it.
We will make it happen.
And thank you for saying our live streams are enjoyable. We appreciate it.
We're doing our best.
This is how we make a living, so I hope they're good. This is how we pay our bills.
Which is incredible. Like,
and it's thanks to all of you, obviously.
You guys are incredible, and thank you all for being here. Is there anything else we wanted? Oh, highs and lows. We should end off the stream with the highs and lows.
Someone wants to know what would we rate Eye of the World out of 10?
Out of 10, the book?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10.
I'm going 9.5.
Yeah, like...
In terms of like in comparison to like other first books in a series, there's definitely room for like the books to get better than this. But in terms of an introduction to a world, this is one of my favorite introductions to a world I've ever read.
Yeah.
Like this,
100%.
The first Game of Thrones book and Lord of the Rings are in my opinion, like the 3 best first fantasy books I've ever read.
Yeah.
I think Game of Thrones gets a little lost after that. Lord of the Rings is consistently good to the end. And I hope that this goes more Lord of the Rings than Game of Thrones.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so highs and lows.
So for those of you who don't know, we have a segment at the end of our show. We talk about our high and low of the segment because at my family dinner table, we would always say the high and the low because it's important to celebrate your highs and it's also important to commiserate with each other on the lows. This is a 3-hour episode of this podcast. Sorry about it.
Sorry.
But I will say, we always start with the same order. Clarisse will give her high, I'll give my low, she'll give her low, and then I'll give my high so that we complement Sandwich. We don't really have lows,
sandwich.
But, go for it.
My high. Oh, wow.
I think this is the first section where our highs might be very different because usually our highs are pretty similar.
I joked about like my favorite scene being Moiraine being like, wait, what? You did this and then this happened. And like that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
But like I think that the real oh man, there were so many good things. I'm like, I don't God damn it. I don't even there's so many good things. I really don't know.
Okay. Well then I'll go to my low and you can think about your high.
Well, no, okay, all right. I think my high.
I love that you were like, let's do this segment, and you have nothing
and
for
then
it.
and then I was like, oh no, it's this, and then I was like, no wait, it's this. No wait, actually, I like this.
Oh, actually, you have to do your smut corner as well. You didn't do yours earlier.
I'll do that at the end. Yeah. Okay, I think that my high is still that scene, but for so many more reasons than I listed. Obviously Moiraine being like, what? But them all coming together. And that, like, meeting of them and the joy and the connection and the camaraderie and, like, that moment was like, perfect to me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that is my high for the book.
My high for the book is, for this section. My high for this section is the chasing in the Blight. Because it pays off the journey that all of the characters have been on and where they're at and what they're capable of now.
Yeah.
And those same characters at the beginning of the book could not have survived that chase through the Blight.
Oh wait, is this
in the same
high?
way? This is my high. Oh, sorry, yeah. We'll do high, low, low, and then we'll do smart corner.
Oopsie.
I think I really do believe that. I think that it pays off the journey they've been on so well. And I'm so in love with where these characters start and this action sequence showing off where they are now and the journey they've been on through what they are now capable of. And it really, the chase through the Blight really just blew me away. And I thought it was fantastic action writing that wasn't just pure action. It was character-driven action writing that really Robert Jordan just really really stunned me with. I was really, really impressed by that.
Yeah. Really quick, Dusty Will did ask what we would rate the show.
We'll do that last.
We'll do that last?
Yeah, we'll do that last. Let's get through our lows first.
We'll get through our lows.
Lows, Smut Corner, and then Dusty Will wants to know how we'd rate the show, and then that's what we'll go out on.
Yeah. My low... It's weird because it's like... how is it my low? I think that the section where Rand gets away by himself and kind of destroys... No, it's not Agelmar. Angier?
Agenor?
Agenor. Oh, God. So many names. And destroys Agnar. That part was a little bit muddy to me in terms of understanding what was going on. And things were made clearer later, which I found was interesting. But, yeah, I think that part was just a little bit... it wasn't super clear to me. That part I had to like kind of reread a few times and go back and figure out what was going on there. Really cool moment, but a little bit confusing.
Yeah, my low has to do with the same moment, but a different side of it, where like Matt and Perrin just kind of fled into the woods.
Fair. And
then they came back. What were they doing? And also, why don't, after everything they've been through, why doesn't anyone trust them? Actually, maybe not trusting Matt, I kind of understand. But it just kind of feels like everyone's kind of like, and Matt and Perrin are here too. And I just kind of wish they had given the two of them something in the end of the book. Because they're just kind of like, and then they're also just kind of like in Faldara. You know what I mean? Like, from the chase through the Blight on, Matt and Perrin are just kind of like, all right, they're nearby. But like, we're not going to tell them anything, and we're just going to kind of like... We'll deal with them later.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wish that there was some finale for the two of those characters. In the same way that I feel like Nynaeve, Egwene, Moiraine, Rand, everyone else gets kind of like final moments.
Yeah.
And Perrin and Matt are just kind of forgotten. And I know that there's so much for them later on. There's more books, but
for sure,
it's a slight low at the end of a really fantastic book.
Yeah.
Your Smut Corner, where would you have added a sex scene?
My Smut Corner would be...
That Robert Jordan apparently would be very upset that we added.
Well, I don't know if that's... I was inferring that from people. I don't know if that's actually the case. But my Smut Corner, I would... when all of these men survive a battle that they thought they were all going to have lost, they all rush back home and everybody just goes at it.
You would have made the Return to Faldara just a big old
orgy. They're like, they come back and they're like, guys, the craziest thing happened, but first we thought we were gonna die, so like, let's get it, right? Just like up and down the streets, in the garden, on the wall.
All the kids are taken to daycare, and then the adults just like go to town.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, the kids aren't even there. The kids are in. Oh, actually, no one's there. Oh no, because everyone comes back from Falmora. They did come back. Yeah, so it's just like a, Robert
everyone's having a
really disliked Wheel of Time erotica. This is not erotica. These are jokes. I want to be very clear. There's a difference between, we're not saying we do not intend for you to jerk off to this sequence. We intend for you to just kind of laugh because it's just us having fun.
Yeah.
My high is when Agenor and Balthamel show up to tell everyone that they followed the taint on Matt's dagger to the Eye of the World. Oh, that's what they were following.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That is actually really cool. Glenn, that's actually a really good... That's a great high.
It's a great high. Yeah.
I loved meeting Forsaken. I love that like the word Forsaken is used. I wish the show had kind of leaned into it to like give us like...
Forsaken.
The book does a really good job of like showing that like the Dark One isn't just Trollocs and Fades. Like there's like this whole like mythology to his side.
Yeah, that they were people who, some of them originally opposed the Dark One and were just consumed.
All right, final thing. Last thing.
We rate the show out of 10?
Rate the show out of 10.
It's so tough for me. I think we did this on our spoiler chat where, we said like...
I stand by what I said on the spoiler chat.
Well, and yeah.
The first 7 episodes are like an 8, and the finale's like a 5.
Yeah. Like as an overall thing, I think I would have, given the show... before the finale, 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10, because I was loving it. I was loving the ideas that were brought up, and I was really looking forward to it every week. And I know it had problems, but I cannot deny the joy that I felt and the excitement I felt for it. And then, the finale kind of drags the show down to, like, maybe a 6 out of 10 for me, like, as a total score.
Yeah, no, I genuinely, no, I would give, they're just so different, right? Like, I think that, like, the first 7 episodes are an 8 out of 10. Like, really, I do. I think that there's a lot of fantastic stuff in there. I think there are moments that are, like, even better than that. I think the Aiel fight at the beginning of episode 7 is, like, much higher than that.
Amazing.
I think a lot of the land stuff is really high up there. I really do enjoy it. But the finale dips so hard.
Yeah.
And it's tough, right? It's really tough.
Yeah.
After how... and I think that, honestly, the finale is worse to me because I like this previous 7 episodes so much.
Yeah.
Because the finale feels like a dip in quality from... not just from the adaptation of the book, but also from the previous episodes of the show.
Yeah.
And I find that confusing. Also, having read the book now, there's so much in the show that is not in the first book that, like... I hope I understand why it's adapted into it later.
Yeah, I did enjoy.
We're going to talk about that next week, though. That's going to be like the premise of next week's episode.
Yeah, next week, y'all, we are talking about the first book as a whole. We will be doing comparisons to the show. Everything that is in the first book and the first season of the show is fair game.
I do want to address this one question though. Dev Setter says, "Has your rating changed as a result of reading the book? In the context of seeing the changes, has that made?" No, because the show is still a TV show. It's a fundamentally different piece of art.
It's not a great adaptation.
It's not a good adaptation.
It's not a good adaptation. As a show,
it's a fun TV show.
It's a fun TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that like if your rating is based on like how well did they adapt The Eye of the World to be a season of television, you can't rate it very high because that's not what it is. Mm-hmm. As a television show that is loosely based on the books, I enjoy it quite a lot. I like the characters a lot. I like a lot of the writing, right?
Yeah.
There's also writing that I don't like, mostly in the finale, right? Moiraine has a tell. Oh my god, I'll never get over that line. But
Moiraine has a tell.
But like it is tough. I really do like a lot of the show in a way that I that doesn't change because it is not a good adaptation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And but it's intentionally not trying to adapt a lot of the book, right? Like they're intentionally doing something different.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they did that was different, I really liked.
Yeah.
It's M. Craig said, "Did you misstep in the books?" No. They didn't go to Tarvalon, so none of that would have made sense.
Yeah, I think that like I think more things are going to be revealed to us, and so I'm excited to keep reading. In all honesty, it sucks because I want to start reading the book now, but I don't want to read it before we have our complete chat next week.
I'm not going to read it until after next week.
Yeah, so I'm not going to read it until after next week, which fine, okay, whatever, I'll survive. But yeah, we're so excited.
We're gonna keep talking. This is gonna be the conversation of next week. Is really gonna be the full book and the full show and the comparison. That's gonna be next week's episode next Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, not last night. For those of you who tuned in last night because I messed up the timing of the YouTube video, I am sorry about that. Sorry. But thank you for coming in and saying hi last night in the chat while there was no stream happening.
So sorry.
This is gonna be where we end it. To the 700 people who were concurrent. I don't know why you're watching us talk about this book. I don't really get it, but thank you so much.
They like the book. It's not us.
Don't
flatter yourself.
We're just the only people talking about Wheel of Time on a Friday morning. To all of you who are watching this with us and going on this journey with us, thank you. This has been so much fun. The bright spot of 2022 so far has definitely been interacting with all of you. Apparently we have 666 people watching right now. So the number of the beast. Thank you. This is going to be so fun. We're going to be back next week with the full book one, the breakdown, a lot of more show talk.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to reread this for next week.
I'm going to rewatch the show.
Good call.
I'm going to rewatch the show for next week. So we're going to have some thoughts.
We're going to try and get hyper specific with what we can because obviously this was a generalized thing.
I do wonder, I haven't watched the show since reading the book at all. I haven't even turned on an episode.
I wonder how it's going to feel to watch the show again. Yeah.
I think a lot of next week is going to be talking about how rewatching the show after reading the book changes our thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an interesting conversation.
I agree. Before we head out of here, guys, shameless plug, get your gamer subs.
Go to those links below.
Go to those links. Yeah. Use the code Clarus with 2 O's to get your caffeine on, because honestly this stuff's really tasty and we do make money from it, and this is how we make a living right now, so yay, plugs.
And also I can't believe this was a 3-hour show.
I cannot believe this is a 3-hour show.
I have to go get the car.
Oh yeah, you gotta go get the car and we gotta get the flower. Anyways,
oh wait, my stream's in an hour.
Oopsie.
Oops, this went very long.
Nerdy is going to be streaming over on Twitch later.
Hey, come! We're going to play Guardians of the Galaxy. It's
come hang out for that. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, Please do.
Oh, you hit 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel.
I know. I hit 1,000 subscribers,
You're so greedy.
which is awesome. I cannot apply for the YouTube partner program yet because I don't have the view count.
Yeah, if you guys could go watch 2,000 hours of Clarissa's video so she can get in the partner program.
No. But like, check us out, guys. We're everywhere. Check the links below. We've had the absolute best time doing this with you, and hopefully, maybe, possibly catch us on the Dusty Wheel at some point.
Yeah, go follow the Dusty Wheel. I'm sure most people who would watch this already follow the Dusty Wheel. But,
probably.
Yeah, come. Hopefully, check our conversation out over there. I'm so excited to talk with them about this. It's been fun. But as always, my name is Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And I'm just going to quickly throw up. These are our @. So follow us at these. Follow us at these and do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, that's not that button. Every time.
Every time.